virtually every one of the top 40 records being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children to take a trip, to cop out, to groove. The psychedelic jackets on the record albums have their own.
This is a special question. We don't want you to smoke genetically modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing.
Me?
We want you to smoke the natural herb.
Sweet.
Some call it marijuana.
Sweet.
Some call it sesame.
Sweet.
Some call it lamb's bread.
The tea.
And some people call it
Welcome to another edition of the Adam Dunn Show. I'm your host, Adam Dunn.
I'm Dave Jarnick. And
I'm guest host Kyle Allon. There you go.
birthday boy.
The other birthday boy. Two birthday boys.
Telescopic.
Telescopic. Is that two words or one?
When you hit
It's one
30,
word.
when you hit 30, do you have to change your name now? Because it's like that's childish.
No.
You gotta have an adult name now.
No.
Come on.
No.
Come on now.
Mr. Telescopic.
Mr. Telescopic. There you go.
Sure.
At least that. At least throw a Mr. in front.
I mean, it's not like I'm Lil Telescopic or
Scopic.
something.
And out of the gate, we're gonna have a quick little interview / pre-warm-up show. Because apparently
emergency update
pre-warm-up show. We got James Bean, man on the scene, as always. Got his finger on the pulse of the industry, and we got Green Bodie up there. But Green Bodie's not allowed on the show this week because apparently 2 weeks ago he was on Danny Danko's show. So it's not quite. We're gonna stretch it another.
Fuck.
We got to stretch it another week or so.
Bodie, what's up with that? What? I mean, really? Let's
He
just
didn't
talk.
know. He didn't know yet.
He didn't know.
I didn't know.
He didn't know.
Ignorance is no excuse.
Ignorance is bliss sometimes.
Yeah.
Rarely,
Ignorance
but
is
you know,
okay.
this time.
Hey, listen. Ignorance is okay, but a bad internet connection is not.
Ooh, where are you?
I'm gonna go voice.
Okay, that's okay. We seen you now. We know
Let's
it's
be happy
really.
we have a guest, Dave. Let's just be happy we have a
Yeah,
guest.
Dave. Jesus.
Yeah,
Come on,
Dave.
So I tell you what.
All right, we got
See
you.
that?
Wait,
See
hold
that?
on.
See how
Let me
cool the hat
comment
is?
on James Bean's shirt.
Yeah.
Let me see the shirt.
No, the hat. You got to
What's
talk
on
about
my
the
hat?
Talk about the hat.
I can't see the hat. It's washed.
No, it's there.
Put it, make it bigger, Mark.
It's perfect. What are you talking
It's
about?
a fucking. It's a.
It's
It's
there.
It's
You don't
on a high
see
cloud. Come on.
I see it.
You see, you know my glasses are right here, right? Where did I put them?
Oh, you're sucking.
no.
Fuck it. That's 80. Whatever.
80,
Shit,
dude.
got this. 80.
No, Adam's older than me.
Anyhow.
So there's a fuck you.
I know. So this week we had a big drop by Bob Hemphill. You guys know Hemphill.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
Dropped NL5 crossed with haze. So got back to some classic structure, classic flavors, classic reset hard drive. So to say, not so much.
The most renamed combo in the world. The Northern Light. Fucking 5.
Well, that too. NL5 haze. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Bob Hemphill, being true, didn't give it a name. He just called it NL5 haze, Tom Hill, or NL5 Tom Hill haze.
Sweetness.
We got another restock in that was pretty awesome. Haven't had this restock in for like I want to say 8 months. So it's pretty jacked to get these. They're regs even. So we had TH Seeds give us a refill.
Oh, those guys.
Yeah.
Finally.
So it's been like fucking masters, right? They're going on like they just had a 30-year anniversary.
I know, isn't that
Like
funny? Because
30
these guys
years.
just turned 30, and I was thinking to myself this
nuts.
morning, I was like, wait a minute, so I'm on my 30th anniversary, and these two little kersmudgeons over here.
Have no clue who the fuck you are or what you did. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nothing.
no, they,
Well, let's just
Oh, come on,
they
James.
know what's up.
They know what's up, but Adam and I had a really, I mean, at least 5-10 minutes of laughter,
What?
realizing how young you two
Oh, I
fucking
know.
whippersnappers were.
Yeah, Adam, when you were
93.
what?
No,
How old
he
were
said.
you?
I said it's
When you
Kelly's
I was
birthday.
24.
24, yeah.
I said it's Kelly's birthday today, and yesterday when I was talking to him, and he goes, "How old is he? 35?" And I just ripped into laughter. I'm like, "No, he's a day older than Kyle."
And I was like,
was
wait a minute,
like,
so
oh,
I've
day
known him,
younger.
and then I realized, I remembered, because Vinny's like, oh yeah, I carded him the first time we came into Hood Lab. He was like,
He kicked
"You're
me out,
He
yeah.
kicked him out, so there you go.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
was like,
So, but yeah,
I was
but
like
so-
19
so,
or 20.
Yeah, that's
Those
crazy.
guys have been doing it for 30 years. Like these strains obviously have ran the test of time and tried and trueness. Sage and sour. I got some heavy duty fruity. I got some A Train. I got some Kushage. I got some MKage. I got it all. So it's all up there. And the nice thing too is that TH Seeds in their nice big heart Looks like they gave me done with a price break, so I passed it on to consumers.
That's a typo.
Under a 10
That's
pack.
a typo, James. Sorry.
Nope.
No.
Yeah.
That's a typo. We got to
Under
fix that.
under $70 for a 10 pack. Under $40 for a 5
Yeah,
pack.
mistake.
So pretty good. No.
Seeds,
No done
seeds
deal
are
needed every
seeds
day.
are definitely balancing. I mean, it's funny because in Holland and in Europe in general, like they went to the bottom of the barrel so fast. Like there was people selling seeds for 10 cents and 5 cents and stupid numbers where you're just like, I mean, they just didn't give a shit. They were just going volume, and trying to push out as much shit as they could. But it was like, there needs to be a
It's
bottom.
also pushing out as much shit as you can. Like you gotta get with the verified stuff. You want to waste your time throwing junk.
No, exactly. And you get these packs of seeds and they'd be like white and looking like shit half the time. But in general, it's like there's a stupid number that's thrown on seeds, and then there's also a bottom line that you have to kind of like respect the grower, because it sucks when people start, because when you get into those, because you know that the guy's going to take your seeds and sell them for $10 each. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh, okay, 10 cents to $10. Not a bad mark. Not a bad mark.
So what I called you on today to kind of tease, sort of added Green Bodie. Happy to have him back on the seed bank now. We'll have his gear next week, and then we're going to have him on the show like we had talked about. I'm not sure if he's still getting in a better place where he can talk to us, or
he's here.
And what exactly is going on? He's not here. I see his thing, but I don't see he's muted.
Oh.
But and my history with Green Bodie, and some other people might have had this too, is that when I first came across Green Bodie's name, I avoided him just because I was like, Bodie, this guy's a Bodie ripoff. He's trying to steal Bodie's fame, right? Like, so I didn't really, I'm not about that, so I kind of avoided him. But later on, as I see more of his videos and more of his outreach to the community and more of his the work that he does just in knowledge-wise, I got to follow him and learn his strains. I was like, and then talk to him. And it was like, well, no, this guy actually didn't know who Bodie was. Thought Bodie was stealing his name, right? So, but he's got a lot of strains out. And we were talking about the sour best shit ever, SPSE, which I know has sage in it, and that you've worked with, being the sage master. And Bodie told me that he's credited for it, and the one that he speaks about is different. He had some pilot ratings, so that's what we're going to call in and kind of put that on the table real quick. Give us some mystery for next week.
Sick. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Yeah, no, the sour best shit ever. Obviously, there's a lot of, kind of a little bit of controversy. First of all, happy birthday, guys. That's
Thank you.
cool.
Thank you
I
very
heard
much.
you have birthdays and everything. And, big homage to TH Seeds, too, because, that was one of the first things I bred from was the Kushage, or bred with was the Kushage from, the master there sitting. So, a lot of respect always, and just really, really cool. But anyhow, so anyway, back to the SPSC. So basically, my friend Bam gave it to me years ago. I think it was 2012, 13 or something. Because, we were doing some stuff together in Santa Cruz, Vibey and all that. And, me and Kagu did a collab and gave him the hazy Kush, and he put it by some things, I think the Big Sur Holy and everything. Because really the hazy was a recreation of the Big Sur on my own front, because we had this cut of Big Sur going around Eugene in the late 90s that was insane. So that's why I kind of tried to research it back using the OG Kush Sage and kind of just doing the thing, trying to recreate that high. But anyway, that being said, the SPSE Bam gave it to me, and he's like, hey man, this has got a lot of controversy, this cut. Give it to as many people as you can. Whatever, because I don't really like the guy in the story and what happened. I said, okay, cool. I didn't really get much into it. No big deal. But when I flowered it, I was like, oh damn, this is OG Kush, this isn't some other thing. This is OG Kush, because OG Kush is OG Kush, and I don't think there's too many variations of what that is. So anyway, that being said, we rocked it for a while, and this particular guy that's pretty associated with this cut started blowing me up, wanting it back, wanting it. And I just, heard some this, that, and the other, and just kind of kept my space. But that being said, a lot of stories over the time, last 10 years came out about it. And from my understanding, it's Crybaby OG that's renamed Sour Best Shit Ever, won the Emerald Cup with that OG Kush cut, basically. Then it goes back with these other old LA OG guys that are quite aware and in the scene, and they were saying that it's potentially the M1 OG, because so it's a toss up between those two from very respected OG lineage guys out LA all the way up into NorCal with BAM, and and
So
also
so
you
they
mentioned
just
Mr. Bob Hemphill.
are they passing out the wrong cut, or are they just trying to rename SPSC? Because as it stands, as I know it, as I sent you the photo of, SPSC is going to be 78 Affy crossed with Sage.
And was that like a red herring? Was that a red herring thrown out there to kind of?
Yeah, that was the story told, and then when I communicated with the person that supposedly bred that, this particular guy, he basically told me it was a mix of this Thai, Packy, this blah blah blah, whatever, So I'm just like, well, okay, but then I run it through Phylos. When I run it through Phylos, which none of us are fans of.
Was this back in 2017?
This was years ago.
This is in 2017, right?
So yeah, somewhere around then, when Mowgli told me how rad he was and honest and full of integrity and
breeding project,
all that stuff.
I'll never ever touch the plant, bro.
We all trusted him. But I mean, what I sent in was, I'd send in either nugs or I send in stem and these dry stuff, so he couldn't do anything too awkward with it. That being said, it strikes up as OG Kush, the exact clone as Kush, this, that, and the other Fire OG, Ghost OG, all the whatever 92 clone only OG Kush cuts that are on their Galaxy that all tag the same dot, which, from my perspective, these are S1s, and their science was not as good as it should be, so that's kind of what I left it up to. So basically, for me, when I smoke it.
So basically, the guy's been out there pushing it and saying this is SPSC, but it's really OG Kush, and the guy pushing it's an asshole. And so it's kind of getting a bad name. I mean, SPSC is not.
What about the cut that's out there though? Is it just still the same one, or is that been switched out?
Yeah, it's the exact same cut that I got from BAM. Exactly. Okay. And I've given it to multiple people. Well, not multiple, but like Crazy Composer Dave, and people that are respected.
Not
old
Crazy
schoolers.
Dave.
Another Crazy Dave.
There are never too many Daves.
Anyway, so. But that being said, we're all pointing, hey, this is OG, what level of OG or what it's, we don't really know. But for me, the high is a little different, grows a little different. We have quite a few OGs. So from the Skywalker or the Ghost or the Kosher, they're, and they're all, or whatever, the headband that was renamed headband. That's actually the OG versus, the sour style headband. But they all seem like they're for sure sisters, if not,
when it
clones that went into someone else's garden got weird. I don't know, really,
When it won the Emerald Cup, though, what was there a category on that one, or was it because if it's being?
I'm not really sure. I didn't look into it.
If they're claiming it's Sage times, it's definitely in the hybrid category. It's not, it's like one of those interesting. To get past all those judges, right? Nobody recognized OG Kush. That's OG. That's OG.
And to me,
that'd be the first thing you do.
Adam and from Mojave is that Sage and OG are different.
Way
people
different.
Who get high on Sage sometimes don't get high on OG. There's definitely a huge smell difference, taste difference. So.
Yeah, for sure, all of that, and but that was 2013, I think, right? And from no offense, I went down, when I started, consulting in Oakland in 2011, met up with Addison from Steep Hill Labs 2012 and, gave him the golden pineapple and a bunch of other strains, hazy, mystery,
Addison.
and so Addison. Oh yeah, Turpova. But anyway, so
exactly.
When I gave them all those cuts and they all tested 22%. When they all tested 22% and above, and he's like, bro, we've tested 35,000 samples. Highest we've hit is 19.5 right now, but every single strain you brought to us is over 21%. What's up, dude? And so this was, so from my perspective, people weren't, didn't know as much then as we do now. And, when these OGs started passing around and who got them and how it went and all that, there's a lot of, history, because we all know, even in Eugene, if you had Trinity, if you had, this Big Sur cut, if you had these certain cuts, Blueberry Trend, you don't give them out to anybody, and that kind of held strong throughout time to where we keep a lot of stuff in the family. Grant or Mr. Bob Hemphill, he gave me the PHK cut. He said, don't give it out, keep it in the fam. and I think I've given it to 2 people, and it's been years. And I don't even the breeding that I've done with it. I don't like he did M10 breeding with it. I did the Afghani one. Both I think come through Kagu, but he told me he did that, so I'm not releasing it out. I'm not selling it. I'll give it out to some friends, but just out of respect, because we do it like that, right? I mean, I thought we've all been in this and doing it out of respect for the plant, respect for all our brothers and sisters that are like fucking put their lives on the line with this thing. I don't know,
Wait, it used to be done, not anymore.
To me,
it used to be that.
Yeah, sorry to burst.
Oh
your
yeah,
bubble.
no, it's been interesting.
That boat has sailed.
Yeah, it's rear view mirror time.
It's funny you said Trinity because that's what I brought in today. So I got some Trinity in the house from that same last crop. You saw those photos.
Where'd you get it from, dude?
Yeah, so
Seeds here now.
No, we don't sell it, so it's legit.
well, I think that cut's going around now, right?
Shout out to
even that
Chlorophyll to Bo. Well, former Chlorophyll. Bo's the man.
5'8".
Yeah, it's fire.
Your boat's crooked.
So there's so that's SPSC controversy has just been kind of wild, and I don't really I got kind of out of my league. All I know is that this is OG Kush to me, but it was this is the SPSC that everyone's claiming. This person that supposedly bred it, he uses my photos off Instagram, puts it on his for sale stuff as SPSC, even though it's like Ken's and Kush, and it's like what I'm saying. So there's a lot of weird stuff that's happening with that strain, but
what you're saying.
So with that thing, it's like that, so it's I can't verify it as anything other than OG from a personal standpoint. From the first time I got OG Kush straight all the way to all the other 10 OGs I've gotten.
So we had two.
It fits in that.
Like 2 shows ago, we were told that people were paying like over $1,000 an ounce for OGs.
It's around 12, like 2,000 to 2,500 an ounce, like 11,000 a poundage. The best
2,000 now. We've gone up to 2,000. Oh my god,
that's crazy.
Yeah, well, think about it. There's so many mids. Everybody has mids, right? And I'm not saying the Midwest. I'm not saying that. Right? but there's a lot of mids out there, especially grown at quantity. And as much as we love at quantity will never be able to compete with the small batch boys, right? Like the guys who are doing like a 10 liter or 20 liter in their basement or their garage. That guy's got more time to devote to those plants and sees everything on a more one-on-one basis compared to like 100 liter where they've got some guys in their water and they're going to hopefully see everything, but they're probably going to miss a few here and there, right? So there's so many mids going around there. And
the intention of those.
And that market's just there, and so people are paying it, and then it's outrageous, right? Like what I thought it was outrageous when I heard it was 600 an ounce. You could buy an ounce, a top shelf ounce, for the same price as an outdoor pound. Going for. I was like, fuck. But then when I heard no, bro, like 1,800, I was like, you're kidding me. This is from a very, very reputable source. He's like, he's been in the traditional market for like 15 years. He's like, this is the best I've ever seen it, ever. I was like, dude, that's insane. But it makes sense with so much mids out there, so many dispensaries pumping out all this weed. They drowned out all the guys who were doing it with heart, all the small batch guys. There's only a few guys that are still out there producing on the traditional market. So,
well, as we know too, is it's like that heady small batch herb. When we smoke it, when we feel the way we feel off of, versus this kind of water strain that is mass production, all for money, kind of a lot of these bigger grows that are putting out a lot of these mids, you know what I mean? The intention's not there. The care isn't there. It's not even there from the start, versus these 10, 20, 40, 50 lighters that people can really hone in the craft or whatever way they're doing it, living soil or whatever. It's like, man, they're doing it for the plant, for the heart, and so they have good jars and can feel that way they want to feel,
Well, yeah, and also the other stuff's been sitting in some fucking back room and not been taken care of the entire time, handled 7 or 8 times before it actually got into a bag. And by the time
and here's something else that I've noticed, and that me and Adam kind of spoke about earlier, is that so I have a lot of obviously new people with direct licenses coming to me wanting to buy genetics before they open up, yada yada. And looking back, what I'll notice is that they say they come to me with $5,000. They'll buy like 30 or 40 different strains, right? Thinking that's great, and that is great. But if I could make a suggestion. Instead of trying to, hit the nail on the head with every single 30 or 40 strains, with that $5,000, buy like 3 strains or 4 strains and buy 10 or 15 packs of each strain. Like get one strain and knock it out of the park. I mean, you could very well get we'll use Tansy for an example. You could very well get the best Tansy out of a 10 pack, but chances are you might not. And you do have a copy of Tansy, but seeds aren't like corn or aren't like bell peppers where you're going to get the same fucking one every time. You just call them out. Like they're going to be phenotypically different. And you want to find that special.
Oh yeah, and your numbers.
The guys that crush it are the guys that can run them in like 5,000 populations, right? Like Jungle Boys has a Blue Dream, big fucking deal, right? Yes, but theirs is 1 out of 5,000 Blue Dream. That fucker's nice and shiny. It's the best thing I've ever seen, right? It's Blue Dream, yeah, but it's the best Blue Dream out of 5,000. So
yeah, it's like best out of 10 or best out of 100.
Olympians.
It's a huge difference, right? I mean, it's like going into a small town and picking out your winners. You know what I mean? You're like, I guess you're the best. You know what I mean? Or going to the big city and being like, all right, we got the best of the best because you got just numbers and people, and you're like going through the.
What I see is that people, loading up on their grows and spending tens and thousands of lights on this, and then bitching about should we take a chance and invest on genetics, or I'm like, what do you mean take a chance and invest on genetics? That's the only thing that fucking separates you from your neighbor. That's the only thing your competitor can't buy out from underneath you. That's the only reason your customer's going to come back to you is because you've got this purple thing that smells like fucking grapes, right?
When I first
that's your gold mine. That's your.
When I first met everybody at 14 or Holistics in 2010, and talking to these guys and seeing what they were pumping out and trying to ask the right questions, I learned the highest paid employee in the whole company back then was their geneticist. And that's
rare. It's rare because most of these chads will just come and buy a 10 pack. They're like, cool, I'm set. Like, no, really. I mean, you may be, but I don't. I wouldn't risk it. Instead of trying to hit the ball on 35 different strains, dial it in on fucking 4.
For sure.
Yeah, but James, cut it out with the logic. Yeah. Okay, it has no place in the cannabis industry. Your logic.
I know they're making sense again. It makes people crazy.
Why do that? You're going to trigger everybody. They're going to hear reality, and all of a sudden they're going to start to shake. Like, oh my god, I have to change.
I understand. I get it. So we will have Green Bodie on the show with us next week. He's going to tell us all about his strains, all about the stuff he does, how he does, why he does it, all those good things.
Why,
and then we'll have those on the website.
Yes.
You guys will be able to buy them live on the website tomorrow. I'll save the drop to get in. Looks like we're out of here. So
thank you guys.
Stay tuned till next week when we talk to you. I'll be on later. Thanks, buddy, for coming on and Green Buddy and coming on and
getting us more confused. Thanks for confusing us further.
You got it, dude. We'll confuse it. We'll clarify next time a little more for some more confusion.
Awesome. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
All right. Have fun, you guys.
All right, guys. See you guys.
Hi, Nikki. How are you?
Percent of the time, it works.
You gotta unmute yourself.
Unmute. Oh, she got a
Unmuted. Hello.
Hi, Nikki. Hey. I have seeds. Would you like to buy some?
I'm pretty good on seeds. I've got the blackest thumb ever. So,
they call it weed for a reason. Okay, don't overthink. Right? It's weed for a reason. All right, guys. Well, I'm out of here. Thank you very much. I
See you later on the show.
Peace. See you.
Welcome, Nikki.
Hey, Nikki.
Hey, guys. How are you?
We're good.
Fantastic.
We're having birthdays over here. We have multiple birthdays.
Yeah. How's it going, Nikki?
My birthday too was yesterday.
No.
Yeah. Like literally, I'm going through my LinkedIn.
Wait, yours is today?
No, mine was yesterday as well.
Oh, there you go.
Birthday twin.
Yeah.
I'm going through my whole LinkedIn. There's like hundreds of messages that I'm like replying to each one of them, and it's like.
See, I always like to backtrack on people's birthdays and like go 9 months back and figure out what party their parents met at. Like, oh, Halloween, you're a Halloween kid, obviously, because it was like 9 months later, kid was bad. So you never know. What's 9 months before now?
A little insight into Adam.
I'm telling you, you got to figure out. You're like,
stick to breeding, buddy.
I am. I'm a breeder. I can't help it, bro. It's part of the game. Like, where do you come from? Yeah. Which party do you come from? Which dead show are you from? See, you could do that. You could clock it to the show.
Oh, look at that smile.
Yeah.
It'd be September, Adam.
Yeah.
September? Oh, back to school, kid. You're the back to school kids. Quick, before we go to school.
So for those of you listening, Nikki Lawley just joined us. She is just a cannabis personality who I met on the circuit years ago. I mean, it had to be. And we've stayed in touch. We've been trying to find a time for her to come on the show. And as it turned out, we did some shuffling, and we had no idea it was your birthday, but we're going with that's why we brought you on.
Yeah, it's all birthday. This is everyone's everyone on here.
Birthday party.
It's a birthday.
And if you were here, you would have had a cupcake I made with chocolate ganache and a bagel and cream cheese. You know, but you're not here.
Yeah.
So welcome to the show. Thank you. I know you have another show to do after ours because we were having this, you know.
No, I screwed it up. I'm already done with that one.
Oh, you
so
are? Look at that.
Yeah.
All right.
Look at that.
Was
You know, me and that whole time change thing. I'm not real good with the zones and the time zones.
Well,
so,
boom. You made it. You made it. So,
I did.
So your story is touching and compelling. Maybe you take us down the road of how everything got started for you, what got you here, and I'm sure we'll ask dumb questions and try to make people laugh during it. But please.
Well, if I ramble too much, just cut me off. Basically, my name is Nikki Lawley, and I'm from Buffalo, New York. And about 6 years ago, I was working as a pediatric nurse, and a child didn't want a vaccine. You know, kids don't like shots. And he pretty much changed my life in less than a second, just doing my job. He tucked his chin and threw his head back into my head, and then I bounced into a wall and back into his head. It was a double impact fluke accident that I never dreamed I would have become A, disabled, B, lost my career, and C, ready to take my life. Cannabis was never discussed. I'm a part of the war on drugs girl. I'm a good DARE graduate. Nancy Reagan, just say no, your brain on drugs, the whole thing with the frying egg.
Jumping into the empty swimming pool. Don't forget that one.
Oh, and the dog talking to you. There was that one, the dog talking.
I did that shit all the time.
The empty swimming pool one, that was it. You know, not even once.
It was like messed up. And so, long story short, the first 4 months of my injury I lost who I was. I literally became a victim of the system. Going from healthcare provider to patient was game changing. When I learned what patients went through every day, and people weren't like me as a healthcare provider or a fellow nurse. Before my injury, if you went to a doctor appointment, you always got like professional courtesy, and you were always like treated as an equal. Once I became injured, and brain injury is an invisible illness, like you can't see it. I don't have a cast. My head isn't wrapped. It's invisible. And so doctors were not responsive. They like called me a faker. They called me a malingerer. They couldn't see the injury. And so I went from being the respected colleague to all of a sudden being the faker. And my brain was messed up. My chemistry in my brain was messed up. I was on over 55 different pharmaceuticals over a course of 18 months, 16 at one time. And I became really hopeless. My life lost its meaning. I lost the glisten in my eye. I became a zombie on the pharmaceuticals. And crazy as it sounds, I was in Las Vegas because my husband, after 4 months, said, you can't go on like this. Like, you're ruining our life. You know, we've got to get you happy again. We've got to find a way, you know, do something fun. So me being a prior casino dealer, we went to Vegas.
That's why you guys got along so well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh, I get it now. It makes so much more sense.
Well, truth be told, we did meet in Vegas, so go ahead.
We did.
It's all making more sense to me now.
MJ Biz. But this particular trip was completely different than any other trip I had taken. I spent the first 3 days in the hotel room sobbing, unable to leave the room, like the plane ride from Buffalo to Nevada was just blood curdling, death painful because of the pressure change and everything that was going on with my head and the pharmaceuticals. And honestly, the third day of our trip, I was standing on a balcony overlooking the Las Vegas Strip, ready to jump over the edge. And a billboard came driving by the Las Vegas Strip on the Strip saying that, on the Strip, normally when you see a billboard, it's
titties.
Yeah. Some exactly.
Yes, exactly that. I wasn't sure if I was allowed to say that.
Oh, yeah.
But
you can say titties. You can't say fucking titties or anything like that, but you can say titties.
So, but yeah, normally scantily clad women, escorts, whatnot is what you see on a billboard. So I'm literally ready to Peter Pan off the balcony, and it's a billboard drives by saying, "Get your medical marijuana card in Nevada today." This was in January of 2017, so adult use wasn't even a thing yet. And when that billboard drove by, I literally laughed hysterically. Your brain on drugs, you go for it, girl. You're already fucked up. So you might as well just go ahead and fry it some more. And so my husband came back to the room, who's literally the last American Boy Scout, the good guy, doesn't drink, doesn't do drugs, doesn't do anything of the sort.
He's loving Vegas. You're like, this is great. Oh, this is so great.
And I told him about the billboard, and he said, well, let's go. And I'm like, let's go. Are you serious? Working as a nurse, I didn't see cannabis as medicine. I got to be honest. I saw cannabis as a thing that you just got high off of, that you were just a lazy stoner if you used it.
So, Nikki, at no point up until this moment did you not think that your husband completely set this up? He was driving the billboard. He wasn't in the room at the time. He was obviously driving that thing. He brought you there because he saw that, and obviously when you said to him,
as
"Hey,
a Boy
I
Scout,
saw this,"
as a real Boy Scout,
and he went, "Let's go.
Let's do this."
He's like, "I parked that truck right around the block. I shall go get it right now."
Yeah, it wasn't a setup. It definitely was not.
All right.
But as the universe had it, that was sort of my sign to go investigate this. So I set out to the 1-800 Get Your Weed Card Today facility, got my weed card, went to my first dispensary, and it was the most overwhelming experience ever. Think of that first time you went to an adult bookstore in your life, and all you
no
did
idea
was,
what you're talking about.
God.
Well, these guys are barely old enough to...
These guys couldn't go. Yeah, they're barely. Yeah.
Yep.
Are you allowed?
But think about that first time. The first time you went, you didn't know what to touch. You didn't know what to look at, because if you stared at something too long, that could be indicating you're really a crazy human. So, I didn't know what to touch, what to do, or anything. And so I was in there for an hour, and I had a pretty impressive haul that I took back to the hotel. And I ate, I'm not even exaggerating, 6 different packs of gummies, a couple pills, a couple Chiba Chews.
Damn.
The whole packs. Not 1 or 2 pieces, but the whole packs. So under normal circumstances, any normal human would have probably been in a coma for 4 days. But for me, I slept for the first time in 4 months for about 18 hours. Yep. And when I woke up, I was so weed hungover. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I don't even know how I can sit up. And my husband said, go smoke those 2 joints. We're going home tomorrow.
I love this guy.
But you've got to finish this stuff off.
See,
so
you did the right
dude.
job. That was the right you needed to. You needed to keep going. Keep going. Don't stop.
But I'm like, I can't smoke. My head's going to fall off my body. No way. But I did. And that was the first time I left our hotel room in 4 days. That was the first time, other than going to get my card. I actually wanted to go eat, which that was an unusual symptom. But that was the day I discovered cannabis could potentially help my brain injury symptoms. And so when I came back to New York, I expected the exact same process. We had medical marijuana in New York. So I expected to come home, go get my card, and do the exact same process. Unfortunately, chronic pain was not in our approved list of conditions at the time for New York State. So I became hopeless. I became sad. I went to all my doctors for workers' compensation, and I literally was like, hey, I tried cannabis in Las Vegas, and oh my goodness, it was so cool. You know, I was able to leave the hotel room for the first time. Well, they then wrote in my chart that she was well enough to go on vacation, so there's nothing wrong with her. And then they also said if I'm smoking cannabis, total fuckers. And if I was smoking cannabis, then I'm drug seeking, that I'm a high risk for drug abuse. Now, mind you, they're giving me opiates, okay? They're giving me
but they're prescribed by a doctor.
Yeah, right. You give me oxys and things at the time, or.
But I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, and there's no standard.
Thank God they didn't give you fentanyl. That would have been. That's the. At least you were pre that bullshit. So that's good.
Yeah, right. I really was. But they gave me anything else. I mean, any hydrocodones with codeine, Darvocet, little Vicodin, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It was like a potpourri of pills. I mean, seriously. If I was a drug seeker, I would have thought that would have been what I was seeking,
right?
Not cannabis.
Exactly. Like, really.
Yeah, those actually had good resale value on the street. Nobody wanted to buy your mids from Las Vegas.
So there began the stigma and the experience of going from respected healthcare provider to all of a sudden patient to now I've become an advocate. I've become an advocate because I don't want others to suffer the way I suffered. I don't want others' mental health and invisible disabilities or illnesses to be mocked and minimized because they exist, you guys, you know, and just because you can't see a broken leg or somebody has a handicap sticker and they're not like walking hunched over like the Notre Dame, you know, the hunchback of Notre Dame, doesn't mean they're not disabled. And we need to, like, as a society, talk about that and like realize that just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not real.
For sure.
And just for anybody out there, I've seen that purse that you talked about and all the stuff you like to go buy in Vegas. And she really does just walk down the aisles, fills her entire purse up, and is just a walking smorgasbord of canna products. And when she's there, so you are always want to hand them out to people who are around you, which is really cool.
Always.
So in Vegas, you could always just go get one without having to live there. That was never a problem. Or?
Nope. They had reciprocity.
They did.
They didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually why they set it up there, because they knew the tourism.
It makes sense, obviously, because most people aren't from there, so. That's good.
Right. Actually, it was a California doctor who gave me the card for reciprocity. So kind of interesting. A little weird.
Well, they had that
back in the day.
Yeah. They used to say what
now there's almost no medical. Now there's almost no medical anywhere. It's horrible.
Well, next week we're going to have Dr. Joe Cohen on. He was supposed to be on tonight, but he had to reschedule. But he runs Holos Health, and he's been a medical cannabis provider since like 2008. He was one of the first. Wow. He was one of the first here. He was an obstetrician for 35 years. Figured he wasn't delivering babies anymore. He might as well, help those babies
give
enjoy
his
their
mama
life.
some weed in labor.
Yeah.
My daughter just had a baby 3 months ago, and I gotta tell you, the stigma and fear she's had, just, she consumed. She's got like a little bit of, a little OCD action, a little anxiety. And during her pregnancy, she was so paranoid, like that she was going to get pee tested. And then after the baby was born, because she's breastfeeding, she got spooked because somebody told her that, oh, you're going to lose your kid if like the kid tests in a drug tox with cannabis. And I don't know if that's true or not, but
damnable lie. Damnable lie.
It freaked her out. Yeah. So she was afraid to use cannabis. And I would love for an OBGYN to come out of the closet and say, you know what? It's not going to kill your kid. And
Well,
the risks far outweigh
considering that it was traditionally used for women who were pregnant forever. Like, Queen Elizabeth used it for menstrual cramps, things like that. People, it's been used. That is exactly what has been targeted as, and everybody knew that. So it's like,
well, she'd like to call in next week and speak with Dr. Joe. Just because he's not a practicing obstetrician, it doesn't mean he just forgot his past life.
Some free service.
I bet.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see that. I would love to normalize the conversation with all different medical practices. I mean, as a nurse, if you would have told me your kid was using cannabis for seizures or seizure management, I would have been like, yeah, no, I'm calling Child Protective Services. You can't give your kid weed. We didn't prescribe it. Like, I wouldn't have understood it at all.
So,
and now I completely 180 my position.
Sure. And so, like, did you ever go back and, do your little re-education as far as endocannabinoid system and all that with people? Because I'm sure all your nurse friends were like, what are you talking about? What endocannabinoid? You're crazy, girl. That Vegas.
Dude, when I heard that there was an endocannabinoid system, when I first heard that, I was like, yeah, you're smoking something really cool, because we don't have that system in our body. And I mean, because we're not taught that in nursing school. We're not taught that there's this system that completely regulates our homeostasis or our balance. And so when you hear that and someone tells you, it's just like your respiratory system, it's just like your skeletal system, and you're like, yeah, no. But now, yes, 100% it is.
And when you do enough edibles, you figure it out. You're like, oh shit, it's actually doing it right now. Here it is. It's happening. It's happening. You know what I mean? Because you're a little off at that point. You're like, okay, my homeostasis is not quite there. It's a little bit, it's getting re-shifted back. And then after that, it's all back in balance. You know what I mean? Because I always consider it's kind of like when you start up a pinball machine and you underneath the bottom of the pinball machine, you got a little button, and you hit the button, it resets everything. It's like kind of like that. Like DMT is maybe the next step of that. Like that's like a total brain clean, but that's more of like a body clean. Like all your systems get checked and pushed a little bit. So that's why people get scared, I think, because they're like, oh, something's weird. You're like, it's just everything getting reset, dude. Relax. It's not a big deal, But that's and I think the key is like what your husband did is by making you do more, which is what the whole key of all getting any kind of benefit out of it is, more than you think you need. You know what I mean? Because when you think like it's like smoke a joint or something like that, okay, that's cool. But when you do edibles or you go deep with any kind of thing like that, then you really see like, okay, this shit has got a lot of power to it, but nothing you can't, like, especially when you see a kid, who's got epilepsy or something, who's doing a gram a day, and they're like 9 years old. You're like, okay, I guess it's not that bad. This kid's just whacking down a gram a day like it ain't nothing, but you have to build it up. It's all about the first couple of times. So,
Nikki, are you involved with the Nurses Association I think they're based out of New Jersey, that started the national coalition at all? And they're going around.
I'm not, because I'm no longer a practicing nurse. So I never want to mislead people and say that I'm a quote cannabis nurse, because I don't prescribe or recommend. I just share my personal story and my personal experience. So while I support those organizations fully, I'm just not a member.
Understood.
And quite honestly, every single organization charges a massive amount to be a member.
I would think
and nurses included.
I would think you'd be the perfect person to be speaking with practicing nurses, though, to give them a perspective, because they're just not taught, like you said, they're not taught that at all.
I really haven't thought of it like that, but maybe you're right. I've been really trying to find my place of who can really value my experiences. What's kind of crazy is after I came home to New York, and about 8 months after that trip to Vegas, I was in a really dark place again. And I live in Buffalo, New York, which is 15 minutes from the Canadian border, for those of you that are geographically challenged.
And gets walloped in the winter, as it did this year. Ooh, it's the place you go like, oh, you poor people. Because you just look at them.
Yeah, we had like 7 feet of snow at Christmas. Yeah, our city shut down. Yeah,
It's crazy.
But I ended up being a medical cannabis refugee in Canada. I had posted on social media a really bleak post, pretty much ready to die again. And friends of mine said, "Hey, why don't you come up here? We have weed here. Why don't you I'll get my weed card." And what's crazy in Canada, they mail your cannabis to you.
Yep.
Like in the mail, like the postman, when you see the postman, you got a smile on your face. Why? Because he's bringing you weed.
Imagine what the truck smells like with like just tons of different, because not everybody's got their shit dialed up, right? So it's like a couple packages smelling here and there, and the guy's just loving life. He's like, "This is the best job ever."
So you went all the way to Canada? You didn't think just to go to Vegas?
No, it's right there.
No, I didn't. Canada was 15 minutes away, way closer and way cheaper.
You lived in the perfect spot for options.
Yeah, I'm really in the
at
perfect
that point.
spot. So I ended up getting an actual storage unit in Canada, in Ontario, Canada, because I couldn't bring the medicine home with me. I could only consume while I was in Canada. So I literally could go over for the day, smoke my brains out, and come home.
That must
but
have
I couldn't bring the cannabis with me.
It's so funny because I've been like, I can watch like those, they have the airport shows where like people come through the airport or whatever, and I just like I binge watch. I love watching them because I've been there so many times where you're like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, and the guy's all, where are you? Like, how long are you gonna be here? Canada is one of the worst. And I was like, and so I've been watching the Canadian ones, and I'm like, if you had to go over to get high and then come back and deal with those guys twice, that would drive you nuts because it was like they're just so ridiculous. It's like it's so bad.
7 days before legalization, true story. I got pulled over for secondary inspection, and my car smelled like herb. And the drug cop guy, Border Patrol, says, "Have you been smoking marijuana?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "How long ago?" I said, "Couple hours." And he's like, "So you're high right now?" I said, "No, I'm not." He said, "You just admitted to smoking a couple hours ago." He said, "You understand we can like draw your blood, and if it's over 3 nanograms, we can, take your car, take your passport, forbid you from ever entering Canada again." And I was like, "Are you serious right now? I'm a medical patient. I'm starting to feel a little some sort of way. Why is it any different that I'm using cannabis versus eating a handful of Xanax before I cross? What's the difference?" And he's like, "You're high right now." And so that was one experience.
I was going to say, because when I've been watching these things, I'm like,
no.
The thing that's so funny is on this show, it's pretty much like Canada's got a weird way of getting people to just say dumb shit because they're also like just goofy about it. Like these guys, the whole show is people coming up and going like, they go, "Have you ever been arrested before?" The guy's like, "Yeah, like 5 times, breaking and entering, guns." And it's just like, dude, don't make them work for this job a little bit. Like you don't just hand it over. Like, you're never going to get in if you do that. But people are
the reason that was like one of the many times of Canada's secondary inspection. This main secondary inspection 7 days before legalization, I get pulled over, and this is like before I knew laws really.
Great. Great
time to get pulled over.
Good deal. Just before I learned any law.
And they smelled the weed in the car, and they then dogged the car. And can I just tell you, when the dog's wagging his tail, that's a great sign. As soon as that son of a bitch sits his ass down, you're done.
Oh, I know.
Done. So
I pet the dog in Canada because I thought it was like really, hey, this is cool. And the guy's like, "No, that's bad. You need to come with us." And I was like, "Oh, I thought he was just coming over here to be nice to me." And he's like, they came straight to me. I got off the plane. They were just standing there with dogs. Except the dogs. I was like, I've had nothing but bad experiences in Canada myself personally. I didn't even get allowed in, so I had to sneak in.
Wow.
So they.
Shit. Yeah. Well, they found 45 minutes it took them. They call them toonie joints that you get at the Indian reservation there. And they're a $2 joint. And there was one that fell in the fatal hole of death between the seats of your car. Oh, no. And it had run over no less than 30 times in the track of the car there. it was completely unsmokable. It was completely unusable.
Yeah,
but
very smellable.
That landed me 7 years of secondary inspection every time I went to Canada. Yeah. So when the asshole was asking me the last time I consumed and I shared that was a real bad move.
Yeah, it was.
Then I had a woman, secondary girl, who was absolutely batshit crazy and just literally had a hard on that had to be addressed. She didn't like how I looked. I don't know what the hell her problem was, but she was the most evil human ever. I mean, evil. If like a devil face existed, this chick had it. And
they tend to become border patrol people. It's like part of the deal.
Sure.
It's part of the deal.
Like she was like ready to take me down no matter what. She's like, "Has your car ever been chopped?" I'm like, "Chopped? What do you mean?" And she's like, where we take it apart and inspect for drugs. And I'm like, "No." I said, "Do you understand my violation was less than a gram of cannabis 7 days prior to legalization? Like, do you have any idea how crazy this whole thing is? Why would I do that twice? I mean, I'm a real savvy human. I'm not going to bring...
Don't say that. Don't say that. I'll test your savviness. I'll test your savviness right now.
Oh, and she did. She did.
May I suggest?
My phone. She went through my whole phone.
Oh my
went
God.
through my emails, my search history, my pictures. She found pot plants. She found Hooter pictures.
Wait, they made you open your phone up?
They do it on the show all the time
100%.
to everybody.
100%.
Canada. I'm saying the guy, one guy came up.
I'm never going to Canada.
The guy goes to Canada. This one guy hands him the phone. He goes, "Sir, you have no contacts in your phone at all." He goes, "Yeah, I don't like to keep him in the phone." They're like, "So somebody told you that we look at your phone, right?" He's like, "Yes." I'm like, "What? These people are so dumb. Like, why would they say it?" Like, he couldn't keep with the fucking story, but it was just funny because it was like, yeah, they look at your phone and they look at your photos and they just stand around.
Photos, your texts,
everything. And
anything.
And then they want you, give it to me. And then the guys sit in the back and then they decide, yeah, this guy's got, there's one girl.
Why do they give him the phone? I just wouldn't open it.
They have one girl who was like,
they said you could not open it, but we've got a whole team of people and you'll just be here longer.
Exactly.
Okay, go.
Yeah.
You know,
and then they get then they get the super hard on for you. And
then they get a super hard on for you.
Exactly. Come
like
on.
this bit.
No, you bring it. You go to Canada with a stupid phone that says "fuck you" on every page, and they're just like, "Whoa, this is really weird." This phone just says "fuck you" and up yours, and I can't get it to open. And then they get really pissed off. There's always a way.
They wouldn't like that.
But no, in general, it's like it is because they're always.
They don't play.
Yeah, they don't play at all.
Now it's legal.
And you said about the woman, I had a woman who wouldn't let me in, and it was the same deal. It was like the guy looks over at me and he looked at me and shook his head, and I was like, "Dude, why didn't I get you?" Because he's like, he knew I was just done. I was done. I was trying to talk to this lady. She would not. Everything I said was bad. It went worse and worse. And then they found catalogs, and then it was like for seed catalogs, and then it was over. It was like,
I think we triggered Telly. He looks frightened. So wait, can we clarify for a second? This is today. Like, if you go to Canada today,
yes.
Why?
Well, this happened in 2018 was when I got the seizure of the less than a gram of cannabis. And when COVID hit, though, so being a medical cannabis refugee, I mean, I was going there every week, like 2-3 times a week sometimes. I was going to Canada like for weekends at a time because I had such an amazing quality of life.
They must know you there, though. They must have seen you so many times that you must be like, "What up, dude? What up?"
Can I suggest?
Dude, I know. I mean, I'm on a first name basis with some of these dudes.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Well, my license plate is very distinct. It's ILV.
Canna mom.
No, ILV moose. I have 3 things in life that I love: cannabis, polka dots, and moose. And so the I love moose license plate.
Come on, you can't get more Canadian than that. Jesus Christ, they'd be like, you're
Nikki,
honorary Canadian at that point.
Nikki, I gotta say something. Just to take this however you want. Don't drive across the border anymore. You should have a car parked at the closest car park to the border on each side and walk across. You know,
right?
And that's how you should be doing it. And do that or take an Uber to your car.
end of the story is like this. So during COVID, they closed the Canadian border. So my entire plug or my entire way of life stopped. And I had to learn what the legacy cannabis market was. I had to learn what, as a nurse, as a medical patient, I didn't understand the shit Joe down the street grew is the same as the medical cannabis you get in the dispensary.
Or better. a lot better probably.
Didn't we know each other at this time?
I don't know. We might have. I mean, my story, you probably have read the story on social media. I mean, I've got an obscene amount of followers. I mean, not that obscene, but 87,000. But
don't want to flex on you guys, but you're meager.
No, I mean, you guys have a lot more followers. Like your YouTube. That.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. Not at all.
We might have that equivalent in plays over the course of a month, over 4 shows, but no, that's very impressive. You should be happy with that.
Thank you.
Your story matters.
Don't know what I'm doing. I just share shit. All the time. I'm my real, authentic, raw self, and either you love me or you hate me.
Oh, you'll fit in great here.
At the end of the day. Awesome. I'm just me. And if brain injury did one thing, it was remove any filter I had.
Oh, there you go. Knock the filter out. Yep. It's like, shit, filter got mixed. Oh, well.
Filter is gone. So
that's the
good news is sometimes that shit is really funny. Some of the shit I say, like my one-liners can like make you PMSL, piss yourself laughing.
Or make yourself piss yourself laughing. That's even better.
No.
That's like autofellatio.
But the when COVID hit and I couldn't go to Canada for almost 18 months, I then had to learn about more U.S. cannabis. So I went to more legal states. I went to Massachusetts. I went to Arizona. I went to Nevada. I went to California. And I started to learn so much about the different products available. And I'm a very pro legalization human because I feel like medical patients will get more benefits because they have such a wider variety of products to consume and choose from. Because medical states, a lot of times, they're all run by big corporations. Like in New York, we have 10 medical providers. That's it. 10 medical vertically integrated suppliers for the entire state. We have 38 dispensaries as our New York State medical program. We have gone to adult use, and now there are adult use.
There's 1,600 illegal ones in Manhattan.
16,000
and then another 2,000 in Brooklyn, probably. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I didn't know. What was crazy is during this quest of, finding cannabis and learning about it, people were like, you live in New York. How can you not get weed? You're in the capital of weed. And I'm like, no, I'm not. First of all, everyone thinks when you say you're from New York, they assume you're from Manhattan. They assume that...
Not that you're 15 minutes from Canada.
Totally.
Not that you're 15 minutes from
100%.
Canada.
They totally don't get it. And so apparently there is a very extensive underground market in New York City. But someone from Buffalo...
Wait, what?
I've never heard of nothing.
Are you sure? Really? In New York?
I thought everybody.
No, they have like guys on bikes and shit with T-shirts that say.
We know. New York's gone. New York's gone completely off the fucking chart now. They're over. They've jumped the shark almost on it. Almost jumped the shark. They're getting close.
Our producer Mark was in Brooklyn for the basketball game 3 weeks ago, and smoking a joint. Walking down the street after the game, and some Karen actually runs up to a police officer and says, "That guy is smoking marijuana." What was his line?
He said, "I don't give a fuck what they're doing, lady. Just keep it moving along."
Okay, so it's today for the first time. I thought to myself, you know what? It might be cool to be living in New York right now.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
New York has
Can't you have 5 pounds in New York?
5 pounds.
Yeah.
Crazy.
5 pounds in your house, 3 ounces on your person. You can smoke anywhere cigarettes are allowed.
Sick.
That's the best part of the law. And so when I became an advocate, I was part of building that law. I mean, I didn't write the thing, but I lobbied for it. And I was part of, trying to be part of that change and normalize that conversation, because a lot of people that the stigma is so great on cannabis with so many professionals that they don't understand what they don't understand. They don't know what they don't know. And so my mission has kind of been to really normalize smoking cannabis, because for me, I have a unique digestive system. And the only way I feel the effects of medical cannabis are inhalation.
You're allowed to smoke, just so you know. You're on camera right now, but where smoke, you're allowed.
Yeah, we're all smoking.
I know, I've been vaping. I've been using my special Nevada, California vape that I, of course, didn't bring home with me. I'm just pretending I'm in California right now.
It's a green screen. You have almost a green screen behind you.
No one can see it.
Yeah, we are in California.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. But the Nevada vapes are like awesome. If you guys ever have a chance to get these, I mean, Nevada is badass. And I mean, I'm not getting paid by Nevada. I'm just sharing some good product, helpful Heloise tips here.
Well, introduce us to Nevada, and then we'll get paid for it, and we'll advertise.
There you go.
Them.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
We're getting paid?
What? Paid? What's going on around here?
How do you get paid in this industry? Let me know, because I sure as hell haven't found a way. I mean, I've really found no one to value my experience, and I consider myself a patient experience advisor, because coming from a patient perspective, I mean, at the end of the day, patients are the whole reason we have legalization. Legacy growers are the whole reason we have patients, and we need to not forget those that brought us to where we are today for legalization. And for me, it blows my mind. Like organizations like Americans for Safe Access, they're doing such a great job, but they can't get money. Nobody will donate to Americans for Safe Access. And yet they're the largest patient-centered organization trying to help people get safe access to medical cannabis. And it blows my mind, the lack of support for organizations like that, or patients out of time.
Well, it's stupid because the reality is everybody's just taxing the fuck out of weed, right? And they're trying to make it like all. And so you're like, couldn't you put like a little tax there that goes right back into that type of thing, which makes more sense? Because that's what I've always said about recreational, is that recreational makes enough money that there should always be like a way to skim part of that off to medical
fund
and make it all work, because there's always weed. There's too much weed. That's not a problem. The cash is always a problem. But if there was just a sort of like trickle down deal, which it made sense, because the more rec you sell, the more it goes towards that. And medical should never really have to pay anything. Medical should just be covered either by the system itself and or the government at some point, because the government should fucking throw some money down too, because we're just paying them so much. Yeah. We're paying them through the nose. So if they were to like, hey, and we're going to subsidize you guys for doing the good work there. And it's like, like any patient that's serious, because that's the problem, is there's so many inflated states where you're like, okay, so really half the state has got medical cards already. You're just like, damn, like, there's some places where you just see that out of that, probably 20% are 100 like really, really, really need it, and the rest are just doing it for convenience. And those guys can do rec when it is rec, but of course, when it comes down to the tax money, that's when they get pissed off, because they're like, oh, you're faking it and you're taking it's. They don't care about you faking it; they care about the tax that you're not paying in the rec market. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then that gets squeezed out, and then the medical disappears, and then you're back to square one. But
if you're an alcohol company, you can throw a party, give away free booze.
Exactly.
You can get targeted advertisements on Instagram where to show up in Denver to get your free fifth of whiskey or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. We are not treated equal. And when your story is incredibly touching, but just because you haven't figured out a way to monetize what you can bring, that education level. There are 85,000 people who have something to say different, Nikki. They all believe in you. And you have, right now, it's your voice. It's speaking the word and making sure that people, at least hear it. Whether or not they listen is their choice, but make sure they hear it. Keep telling the story, and maybe.
And I think, actually, thinking about like where you came from and using your background, that the one group that needs access to product, that doesn't even know they need access, is all the senior citizens, right? Because that's the group of people that like you could see immediate benefits, because like when somebody who's 22 years old is smoking weed, maybe they have some medical condition, like if they have Crohn's, okay, they might see a relief, but 90% or more, 95% of those people, they don't even, all they're doing is getting high, right? So, but
sure.
with the senior citizens,
it's preventative medicine.
It's preventative, sure, but as senior citizens, they're like in the situation that you were in. They're on all these meds, they're taking like crazy amount of meds. They're like barely there. They haven't really talked to their kids or their grandkids in years, and then you come in, you swoop in, give them an alternative. Do the same thing that happened to you, but do it in a controlled situation. Don't just be like, you're a bunch of weed, everybody go nuts. It's more like figure out who's really going to be receptive to it, do a little one-on-one, and you could create a whole business on that. You know what I mean? That there's a whole system, because those people need it, and they're gonna but they also need somebody like you to be that person. Because if it's somebody like Kyle, he's 30 years old, he's got his 8 phones, and he's running around doing stuff, and he's like, here, smoke that, do that, do this, I'll be back, beep beep beep, I gotta go. That ain't gonna work, right? But if it's you coming in and you're like telling your story, and they're like, whoa, okay, now I'm gonna trust this woman, because they all missed out. You know what I mean? Like they are a whole generation of people who should have had access, but instead they drank whiskey and they smoked cigarettes, and they just fucking ate a bunch. They ate good food up until a certain point, and then we all ate bad food. But they still, even when there was good food, they probably didn't eat good. You know what I mean? Or they just kind of didn't give a shit because they didn't know. And like all of a sudden now they're in a situation where you couldn't get good food if you try. And if you're living in a senior citizen like home, or if you're in like an assisted living, or even in hospice, you could even go to that situation where you're like, hey, dude, you are going to die anyway, so you might as well be smoking this. And then all of a sudden they're like, holy shit, the guy didn't die. He lived for another 5 years, because that's what happens. You know what I mean? Those are the miracle of cannabis kind of situations. So,
So I was just at MJ Unpacked, and I actually pitched to a brand saying, look, you will never find a more passionate human about your brand. It's Tycoon Alam. I mean, I'll just tell you who it is, because I love their products. And I really believe that if they would sponsor me in some capacity, and their products are sold through a chain of dispensaries, and they have 26 locations that carry their products in Florida. And I literally said to them, what if we do a Nikki and the Plant Roadshow, where we go contact senior citizen centers and we work with the dispensary, they do the marketing for it, they incur the, setup fees, whatever, but you sponsor me, and I'm going to get you brand loyalty. I'm going to get you the Canna Curious that you're not selling to now at all, very easily tracked, very easily. You will be able to see right away. But we have like little mini seminars at like senior centers.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It's brilliant.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
It's perfect.
Yeah, and so Florida, you can't go better than that. Right. It's like, hey, I need some senior
it's a pretty,
citizens.
That's a pretty big market.
You're like, wonder where they are.
So I take it the way you're telling the story, they did not sponsor you?
No.
Right.
No,
so we got somebody for you.
Nobody has funding. Nobody has funding. And so I'm considered an expense, but I'm like, but I can affect your bottom line. I can increase your cart sizes. I can get you brand loyalty that you totally don't have now. I can really help you in a way that gives you an ROI that kind of silly that we are even having this conversation.
Yeah.
Even if you're a silent partner, whether it's Tycoon, whether it's Nubata,
Don't
whether
say
it's
their name again. We're not giving them any press right now. They didn't help you.
They didn't help you.
So we've been very fortunate to make some very good connections in Florida, and we had Randy Lanier on, who has launched Octane Cannabis, and while he spent 28 years in federal prison for cannabis, and right now he is tied into he and his guy Mark are tied into the entire Florida community, and I'm sure Mark is listening right now, so I will get you guys in touch afterwards and you can talk. Funding is always the biggest issue in projects like these, but hopefully maybe there's a collective out there that would come together. When you think about smoking cannabis, I didn't even really think about it, but Yo Tips has a place in every senior center because keeping people healthy.
Yeah. Don't share
joints. So we have an advertiser on the show, yotip.com, and we've been using it the whole night.
Great.
Is that like Moose Labs kind of thing, like a Moose Labs?
Well, yeah, but instead of rolling it into the joint and then passing it around, you each have your own, and then you basically share. So you pass the joint, but you keep the tip.
But you keep your tip.
Yeah,
Got it.
so that everybody's got their own, and then these are made out of birch, so they can be thrown away after 4 or 5 uses, whatever.
10.
You can do
10.
up to 10, but like 4 or 5 if you're like you want to get a nice fresh new hit. But in general, yeah, they're great, and then. They hit really well, and they make it easy to stay healthy because we've put it through the test. Put it that way. We know it works.
We know it works. Right?
We've been in the situations where we're like, whoa, we had dodged a bullet there. So there you go. So it had definitely it's a good thing. And it sounds like you got the same idea as what I was just mentioning, which is perfect because that is like the.
I mean, you think it's a good idea, obviously.
Yeah, it's a great idea. No, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I really think it could make a difference. I just need the right brand who aligns with me.
Well, because the other trickle down deal is that if you take care of these people, then their kids and their grandkids are like, holy shit, we finally got to meet. We haven't seen him in 5 years. He's been just completely completely out of it on oxys or whatever they've given him nowadays. But it's like that would be huge, and then you have their loyalty too, brand wise. So brand loyalty from the top down. You know what I mean? Working
with seniors is so touching because my grandma was 98 in my home, the final stages of dementia, and the only time she ever called me David was when I gave her cannabis chocolates. That was it.
Oh yeah,
otherwise I was Morris. I was her husband, and he passed away in 1979. Okay, so she had been suffering with dementia since her 70s. So to live 30 years with it is very rare, and
very rare.
And
my grandmother had Alzheimer's, and I'll never forget. I'm in the car in Florida, and she didn't know who I was, just honey, honey, honey. But then she sang. Like I gave her a hit of the vape, and I said, "Here, Grammy, take this." And she hits it, and she's like, "Oh." And then she started singing, and then she started like laughing. I mean, why are we not giving all the senior citizens cannabis?
Because
I just feel like there should be an atmospheric bomb dropped with cannabis. We need to chill out, and like cannabis has the ability to help that. Instead of being a bitchy, crabby, demented individual, why aren't we improving their quality of life and giving them something? Euphoria is not a bad side effect of cannabis.
That's how we feel about Mark. That's why we have Mark smoking all the time, because that's the way he would be, crabby, bitchy, the whole 9 yards. And look at him now, smiling, bouncing. He's
because he's leaving. He's going to leave really soon.
You know,
he knows he's leaving.
Oh wait, we didn't talk about this. You don't just get to come up with this. I'm leaving early on your own.
Keep it moving.
We have it all handled over here, Dave.
All right, relax, Dave. Relax.
Enjoy the basketball game.
Oh, enjoy the basketball game.
Yeah. No, senior care. I know somebody in New York that works with care facilities in Manhattan. It's real important. I mean, it really is important. The light bulb didn't really go on until just right now of how in and around it we are, and just by making a few phone calls could spark this conversation for you, I'd be very happy to do that. I'd be very happy to do that.
Dave. You're the best.
Well, we had the guys from YoTip on, and they were talking about how blessed they are to be a medical patient in Florida and have access. But when I heard about how much they were paying for it and how limited the choices are for them, one of Adam's friends was listening to the show, wrote in, and met up with them 2 weeks after they were on the show. So that's got to be game changing for them. So hopefully it'll be just as game changing for you.
New York State dispensary, 0.3 milligrams of cannabis, and 0.3 milligrams costs $35.
Oh fuck!
This used to be $70 3 years ago. Wow. $70 for 0.3 of shit. And I mean, watch, I will cough my face off with like barely a hit.
But that's a $2,800 a month habit when you think about
how
Dude, many of those
I go through this in an hour.
Yeah. Don't buy that shit anymore. That's shit.
Facts.
Yeah,
I'm always trying new products because I always want to be able to give people advice on products that are good, bad, and shitty. I like disposable vapes. Are they bad for the environment? 100%. But I hate 510 carts because 510 carts, I'm always constantly plugging up. They don't suck. I'm tired of charging batteries. It's just a shit show. So I really like the disposable vapes. I like the rapid onset, like flash melt gummies that are like nanotechnology and they have rapid onset. I also really enjoy flower joints and somebody that knows how to roll them. I mean, I'm a pre-roll.
Sure. When are you coming to Colorado next? Because I roll the best joint you'll ever have. Adam and Kyle grow the cannabis, and there's 2 Jedi Knights of extraction sitting right here. So they basically can whip up some pen-ready oil for you overnight and show you
really?
He might look like a 30-year-old little baby kid, like a half adult, but he's brilliant. He really
amazing.
He knows his shit.
That's amazing. I mean, I thought about creating the product line Dots by Nikki and the Plant because Cannabis connects my dots.
Oh, you're getting sued. Yeah, can't use dots. That's a candy already. You're dealing in the dots, the candy.
Dots. They've already got pot dots, but mine are pot dots. Mine are going to be classy, like pre-rolls. Like imagine a nice little, cool, easy pack in and out, and little baby joints. I love little baby joints.
I was lost in translation.
Okay, I said that. I deserved that one.
No, we'll get you in touch with Jeff Allenstein from Bangers in California, who runs one of the largest pre-roll companies, and they just white label for everybody. So
really,
yeah, they're just the technology. So it's your flower. They'll just roll your joints, and you do what you want with them.
Nice. You guys know everybody, man.
We try. It's
You'd be an easy client. You already got all these skill sets.
Yeah.
You already got all these. You're already out there. You got more followers than we already got. So we just have to all we have to do is like guide you in a slight direction, and with a couple right connections, and you're set. So.
We'll help you with this venture,
and I'll help you
get followers.
I'll help you.
Exactly.
I'll promote. Like seriously, I'm all about rev share. I'm all about helping each other out. I'm like collaborate over compete. That is like my motto.
Well, maybe then you can help us figure this out because we have a DabX Go that we can give away, not tonight, but we need to figure out a good way to do it, and maybe we utilize both our social networks. I see these giveaways all the time. Mark has informed me that it's a very difficult word to get away with on Instagram, because when you use the word giveaway, it triggers every algorithm to look at the product, and if you're 21 and because we could. Last thing we'd want to do is do something.
All you do
like
is
that.
like everybody does. You put G and you put a couple little symbols and way, and everybody goes, "Oh, giveaway!"
Right. So let's figure that out.
Whatever. You don't have to beat the algorithm, man.
Right.
Beat an algorithm down. Like,
well, just like how we did shout outs, we could do a hookup.
Yeah, I like how you did that.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Yeah, something like that. But we should utilize both social networks with the show and with you, where that in order to enter, we got a smart data person here, so he'll help us figure this out. But you got to like your page. You got to like the show's page.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to tag 3 friends.
Yeah,
Exactly, it's all work, dude. I'm already tired.
But I don't care.
I'm so tired already, dude. I can't.
People do it all day.
Then no $300 free go for you.
I think it's more of a Twitter.
I think we need to get
thing
her
than-
one
than
first
LinkedIn,
because that's
but-
more important.
Yeah,
So
We'll have one sent to you as well.
we'll get you loaded first, so then you can.
Well, I'll be your little marketing chick. Adam Dunn shit,
Yeah,
I'll do it.
Oh, did you see? You just opened up a can of worms there. There's a whole gift package coming your way with. See that shirt right there?
Yeah.
Would you have any objection to wearing a shirt that says "Motherfucking Adam Dunn Show"?
Oh yeah, she'd be a good ad for New York.
I-
It works in New York. It works in New
My
York.
mouth
It works
is
in New York.
filtered.
It works in New York.
All right,
No problem.
We have one of those for you too.
Good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And,
I
there you go. And in October we're gonna be helping an event in Woodstock, so we need to get you involved into that.
Woodstock.
So it's not too far.
So I'm involved in this New York Craft Beer and Cannabis Festival, June 17th.
Oh, nice.
And it's all sampling. They've gotten approval from New York State Office of Cannabis Management to offer sampling. And that's going to be a huge, cool event.
It's going to be a sloppy ass mess if we have beer and cannabis sampling in the same spot. Wow, it's going to be.
I know it's kind of messed up, but the girl who's running it is like Queen Craft Beer that loves cannabis. So she's
Do it while
taking
you
her
can, because it won't last long.
Yeah, that's the first thing to go.
That'll
right?
be the first event that you'd be like, remember that time when we had cannabis and craft beer, the same thing? And it was like,
remember what Jed did that night, man?
oh my God, she went nuts. Yeah,
It was hold my joint and my beer and watch this.
For sure.
Well, all I know is I'm supposed to be a speaker for it, and it's like women empowerment, and it's supposed to be a lot of women-owned brands and things like that. So I'm kind of excited about it. I've been featured in all kinds of news articles lately. I don't know. There's a lot of great people in this industry, but there's also a lot of seedy, shady characters.
oh,
for sure.
you don't say.
Yeah.
Wait,
You know,
what?
it's hard to believe. I mean, like,
What
I
did she
look
say?
a little innocent, a little naive, which I am in a lot of ways. But, but I can smell the bullshit.
Right.
And when I smell that bullshit, I'm done. You know, it's like one and done.
You're surrounded by it. Right now, it's New York's hotspot for that right now. So there you go. It's like everybody's, well, Jersey maybe more because it's the newest, freshest kid on the block. Everybody's got 30,000 square. Once you hear the same numbers more times, like if you keep hearing the same numbers, that's when you're all of a sudden your little bells go off. Like you're like, okay, so you're looking for what, 30,000 square feet of canopy? Okay,
right,
and you got
yeah.
how much? And you're gonna fail. All right, next person, and because you just hear them, they keep coming up with these ideas, and you're like,
I need 30 million.
they don't understand. I mean, New York's really a tough place to set up shop. You know, right now it's
Yeah,
like
for sure.
everybody's kind of. That's why everybody went to Jersey. Then Jersey just, that's even worse. Like, of course, because
It's such a gamble in New York because you're really making the same mistake that we all said we weren't going to do, which is betting on anticipating when the government is going to act.
yeah. So you grow a bunch of weed and then you sit on it for
And you
a
sit
year,
on it.
and you're like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Here's some old
A
weed.
ton of regs dropped yesterday. So now we have regs for the non-conditional adult use retail dispensaries. In other words, the non-justice impacted individuals can now, they have regs, but they have to be open for 60-day comment period, and then they have 45 days to review them. So, I mean, nobody's even going to be able to play ball or get a license like that's not a justice impacted individual until fall.
I was going to say, not even in the summer, like definitely past the summer.
I think New York completely fucked up with the way they did their whole licensing structure. I really think it should have been like, what was it, the 1860s, where there were these plots of land and everybody was on one side and they shot off a gun and you just rode, and whoever got the land first, that was their land.
Yeah.
But tomorrow, it's your land and you start growing on it, right? They grew crops. So now we have this fucked up system. I was going to say antiquated, but it's not antiquated. It's completely new. And it's completely fucked up because the legal guy is going to spend millions, and the guy who just has the benefit of he rented that storefront first and he's selling, he's going to make a ton of money, and when he gets shut down, it's $125 fine.
And he moves over.
Not anymore. They just changed that. So all the black market dispensaries are literally screwed. They're talking about a $10,000 fine plus.
Not enough.
They're going after the landlord. They're not even going after the tenant. So if you go in there are losing.
So now, but you see, but that's just passing the buck, you know.
It is, but $10,000 fine and $2,000 a day for every day you stay open or something. I mean, like, the government is going to rake up those fees. Like, we've just created a whole new enforcement industry.
From what we saw, though, they might be able to afford a $10,000 a day fine.
They can, because some of these places are making $20,000 and $30,000 a day.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine what I'm saying to you. How can an illegal dispensary be yielding that kind of dough? And they're doing it. I mean, not every one of them at all, but some of the real high traffic areas in like Manhattan or Brooklyn.
You know why? Because a cop's life in New York is dangerous enough as it is. Do you think they want to be going into some pot shop when they know that in 3 months there's going to be some change in regulation that might make them legit, you know, or who knows if they're in the pipeline to waiting on a license and you're going to go risk your life? They don't even risk their life. No, they're not doing it. They're not doing it.
But I mean, again, there's just everybody, like, I've really played in the legal market, right? I haven't gone into the illicit market as far as marketing or promoting things in the illicit area. I've always tried to stay in the legal states and the legal markets. But kudos to all our legacy growers and all of our legacy folks that have gotten us to this point, because without them, we would not be here.
Yeah.
Sure.
100%.
That's why we're here.
Well, you're looking at everybody. So. Tell me, what do you got down there, babe?
What? Some hash?
What do we got?
I got papaya cake and I have purple mist.
So we didn't even ask, Nikki, are you a dabber?
I'm really not a dabber.
Now you are.
Well, you're going to get this dab X.
Once you get this,
we're sending you one of these. Show it.
Yeah, one of these.
We're sending
like a Puffco?
No, I'm just kidding. So it is an electronic dab rig, and that is the only thing they share a similarity with. It's just a different way.
Like low temp dabbing for terpenes is amazing,
can do that.
You know, I'm all about terps. That's how I determine what medicine I use. It's not about the THC percentage, CBD percentage, or any of the other shit. It's all about the terps for me. Like, I'm a limonene and pinene queen.
It's going to end up over there for the rest of the show.
Well, that's the nice part about doing dabs in general is you can really, you know, hone in and focus on whatever particular terp you like. And it's like when you know you like it, you like. It's funny, too, because I've been smelling all these different companies, and it's like GMO has creeped into almost everything to the point where it's like
GMO is in everything.
Like,
my son just
it's creeping into everything. It's turning into one of those like Jack things where it's like almost turning into Jack, where it's like I might get to that point where I'm like, oh no,
I don't know.
Do I know if I like it still? I do love it. I do love it, but
garlic is the garlic thing's too hard not to like.
It's too hard not to like,
We don't have
but it's
names
also
for
like
these
it
either.
sucks when it's
I don't know
like
what they are.
because at certain points you're like when you
haven't opened this
first
yet. We're waiting for 'em to
hit it, you're like, oh man, this is not when like you first hit it, but when you first try certain terps like that, it's so amazing. And then at a certain point, your brain just goes, oh, it's
orange for me. The orange soda, I can't.
Back in the day,
anymore.
orange.
I help breed it, and I don't even want to touch it anymore.
Exactly. So we got Dr. Freak coming on in a couple minutes. So whenever he pops on, we're gonna go from a nurse to a doctor, but he's not a real doctor, so.
He just plays one on our podcast.
He just plays one on the podcast, exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Nikki,
I've really
thank
had
you.
fun, you guys. I mean, I really appreciate being part of your story here, and
Thank
it's
you for
been very
yours.
valuable,
We got
very
a
cool.
whole bunch of cool angles for you, and definitely, I got enough people in New York that at certain points, I'll keep an eye on where you're at and try to link you up with some of the right people.
So
out there.
my company is Nikki and the Plant LLC, and so I have a website, nickyandtheplant.org, and then I've got Nikki and the Plant on Insta, and then, but I'm Nikki Lawley everywhere else. So I'm not the social media queen, but I've had some posts, like a post on Facebook had 120,000 views.
See, she's just flexing on us again.
Yeah, wow.
On Facebook, though.
I know
It
nobody.
was just a meme.
I know Facebook. Nobody does the big numbers on Facebook
Oh, that's
anymore.
that's how you do numbers. DJs now start with a meme page, and then they announce that they're a DJ. You should come to my show.
So everyone starts watching the
There we go. Okay. we
Oh,
see how
angles.
Smart.
Yeah.
Well,
Angles.
you'll have the 20-year-old crowd for sure.
Well, the concept was, my husband even said to me the other day, I had a TV crew from an NBC Syracuse station here, and they put a little piece on me, and they the girls like loved me. I mean, I was so, I'm like, I prefer to use cannabis instead of drinking, because when I drink I become a stripper, and like they love that
Oh,
line.
I didn't get to this part of the story.
and then they're like, "Oh my God, you're so funny!" It's the
Loses
funniest thing ever.
control.
And so my husband says, maybe we're doing it wrong. You're so inappropriate now, and you say fuck every other word. Maybe we should be targeting the younger generation and these college people, because they'll be laughing their whole ass off on you because you're so inappropriate. And then I'm like, no, I need to go after the over 40 woman like I've been going after. And then, but I've got to watch my mouth. Not everybody likes the truck driver 4-letter adjective kind of thing.
Fuck 'em.
I think around here we love it. So
Yeah, fuck 'em.
I mean,
Yeah, fuck 'em.
fuck is really my favorite word. I mean, I hate to say it, but it really is.
pretty universal. So it's those universal words that
It's
just
like shit. It
keeps
works
it
with everything.
keeps
Yeah,
going,
for
keeps the
sure.
conversation
With
going. It's better than
everything.
It's better than
Every single thing.
One, yeah.
I'd rather hear a fuck than a
But so, I mean, I guess I'm open to the whole crowd. You know what I mean? Like, my Facebook reach is, or my demographics, really, the 18 to 25 crowd is increasing exponentially.
Well, we got
Kinda
two
weird.
right here. I mean,
Okay.
No, no. Don't throw us in
Fuck
that
you,
category.
fuck you.
Hey,
asshole,
we
fuck
might
you,
still look it,
asshole.
and that's okay.
Yeah,
I'm
that's the
cool
whole
with that.
point.
Yeah.
Asshole.
Now,
Agreed.
see, that whole torchy thing, that's what turns me off about dabs.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'll set my shit on fire. This hair,
You and Dave
I
are
got
kindred
some tinsel
spirits.
in it. I don't know if you guys can still see it, but I was at MJ Unpacked, and I've got these little tinsel strands in my hair. And so I can just see me with one of those torchy things, just slurping that right up with my
knocking
tinsel
it
hair.
over, burning the whole building. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel you. I'm
Yeah,
exactly
I'm
that
much
way.
safer with less fire than more. Like at the trade shows now, they're giving you these torchy lighters
Oh
instead.
my God, I can't
Rick?
believe it.
I'm like,
Dangerous.
oh my God, dude, I'm gonna like burn my whole nose
Crack
off.
lighters.
Yeah. Well, if
Yeah,
you smoke,
Telly.
that's the type of lighter that Steve the Nose uses in Amsterdam to smoke his hash, and you gotta learn real quick how to do it, or you're burning
You
your
just
fingers.
you gotta just you gotta go real
Gotta
quick
come straight down on it,
and go real quick.
straight down.
Yeah.
That's what you gotta do.
Straight down. And then,
Nikki.
but then you gotta wait until it cools to a certain thing. I mean, to me, like, these kids will come over to my house, these younger humans, and they'll be bringing shit like in bushel backpacks and shit, like rigs that are like this.
In a gun case, probably.
In gun cases, exactly. All the cops are watching. What's going on in there? Gun collection. They all got guns.
I've actually left my rig out in a case, like in my car, and went into the movies and was worried the whole time that there was like the security guard outside was going to see it and like worry. I'm like, oh no, god damn it. I left a gun case in my car at the movies. I don't know.
Oh shit.
At Batman.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
But I mean, it's incredible the amount of money people spend on these glass rigs and stuff. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah.
I breathe it. I mean,
Vinny's one
any
of
pipe,
'em.
I'm a guaranteed drop it. You know, I definitely a joint girl.
Well, Nikki, you have been an amazing guest. You are welcome back anytime. Let's make sure we
Dave.
follow up and find some synergy here. Especially, listen, I'm going to be straight up. You had me at 85,000. Follow 87,000.
87,622.
No, I didn't know that until just now, and we've known each other a long time. So appreciate you coming on. I know we tried to get you on before, but you know what? Second, third time.
Timing's everything.
Timing
You never
is
know when the
everything.
right time is, and this worked out for all of us.
So how do people get in touch with you so we can put your website up in our chat and whatnot? And as Mark sits
Sure.
there laughing.
So it's www.nikkiandtheplant spelled out.org or nikkilawley1@gmail.com, the number 1. And you can follow me on all social media platforms. I'm on YouTube, Insta, Facebook, LinkedIn. I have a link tree. But I'm not on Twitter and I'm not on TikTok.
Oh, come on.
I haven't-
I expect you to be on TikTok. I thought you were going to do some dance.
Or Twitter.
I mean, get her drunk. Get her drunk on TikTok.
right.
You know it's going down.
There it is. We have it up now.
Nikki and the
There it is, right there. Nikki and the plant. See, cannabis connects the dots, my friends.
Certainly does.
Appreciate you, and I'm so grateful that you guys had me. It was a lot of fun talking to you, and able to just be me. Really like that.
Yes, no faking on the hair. No
No.
faking. No
No
fake people.
faking.
We don't need no faking.
No, we don't need
Yeah,
that
nice
at
to
all.
meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. And we'll see. Like I said, I'll link you up with some people out there, and
Awesome.
not quite in
Dave's
Buffalo.
got
Not
me-
quite in Buffalo, but they're in the right state. They're not up in maybe because that's like you're way up there. So, but I'm sure you go down. I'm sure you're going down to events and stuff. Did you go? What'd you do for 420 this year? Were you down in this? Did you go to the park?
I don't even know where I went 420.
Of course.
I don't even
Must
think
have
I
been
was
good.
anywhere
Sure.
special.
No.
I think it was a total wasted day.
Wasted day.
Every day is 420.
I was
I did too. I
celebrating.
didn't do
like
shit.
a
I
dog.
stayed at home. I stayed at home and
That's because
Me too.
Denver doesn't do shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
I asked everyone,
I really
and
want
there
to come
wasn't
to
one.
Colorado. I really love Colorado. I haven't been there since 2005, I think.
Oh wow.
Way too long.
Yeah.
Way too
Yeah.
long.
Or maybe it was 15. Yeah, no, 2015. Sorry.
Oh.
Wasn't that long ago. You had just legalized. And we went to this cute
Oh, no,
little
it was-
town called, it was like a mining town, like Black Hawk or something.
Yep.
You went
Up
down.
top, you went up to gambling. Oh yeah, because
To
you're
the Amerihawk
look at her.
Casino
You can already-
thing. Yeah.
NASCAR. Yeah.
Yeah, so went there, and then I did do a dispensary trip there, and my husband took a brownie that was the size of a sugar cube, and he was tripping balls for hours, completely.
So,
losing
sugar cube.
Incredibles.
You can trip off a sugar cube.
Yeah.
Just different.
You sure
right.
it was
Well, it's
cannabis?
fun, guys.
All
I
right.
see Dr. Freak is in the background.
Dr.
so
Farik is coming on. Yes, sir.
I
Thank-
will
Bye,
leave
Nikki.
you guys to freak with him. And,
from one freak to
guys
the next.
have-
From one freak to the next.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think
there
we
you
already-
go.
All right. Take
Have
care.
a killer day, and thanks again.
Yep.
Yep.
Good night.
See ya.
Bye, guys.
Peace out.
I would never refer to myself as a shaman, but you should.
Yo, yo, yo. Max, is that you? You there?
There's a doctor in the house.
It's the doctor in the house. I need a doc. Oh, don't you have the doctor thing? Where's your doctor thing? Oh yeah, you got your doc. Come on.
Is my video on?
No.
No.
That's why I was asking.
Yeah. How do I do that?
Oh, there's me.
Should be a
Button looks like a camera.
Look like yeah, green little camera looking thingy. I think.
It's
not letting me say I can start it.
I got an option to share screen, stop video, mute. It's my first time on Zoom.
Okay.
Should just be a direct thing.
I guess
if you click
maybe stop your video and then start it again,
Yeah.
because it looks like maybe there you go, stop it and then start it again. Huh.
Or maybe hang up and dial it back in. Click the link again.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something.
Did you give the app permissions for your camera?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Huh.
You can just restart the app.
I'm gonna try it again.
Okay, no problem.
We'll bring on our other doctor.
Doctor who?
Vinny Boombots.
Dr. Vinny.
Dr. Vin. Dr. Freak is coming on, is the man behind Freakshow, which is actually his father, Shapeshifter, which was really cool. So once I hear father-son combos, I'm like, oh yeah, you're coming on the show for sure, because it's just like, that there's heart and that there's like, there's passion. There could be 50 years of work, you know what I mean? Like, it's always interesting because, I can imagine if my kid gets into it, and then imagine if his kid gets into it, then just like you could have genetics that are mine that go to your, and then there was one guy, I wish I could remember exactly the story, but there was a guy like that who was, estranged from his father as a kid, or never, like, was given up for adoption, found his dad, and then went to this greenhouse and realized that his great-grandfather was the guy who was like the weed guy back in the day and had all the genetics. And this kid was just like, oh shit, looked at this old like antique greenhouse filled with genetics with all different, all written down like perfect, and, handed off to him and shit. So,
I'm trying to think of how it would be for Nick. You'd have to do TH son. Right?
oh yeah.
I can give you all a reminder of
Thank
it.
God Dave's not naming anything around here.
Hey, let's give Nancy Reagan a chance to tell us what she said before.
Nancy? Come on, you can do it.
I got it.
I don't know, can you?
Indifference is not an option.
That was
we
it?
want you to help us create an outspoken intolerance for drug use.
Oh my
For the
God.
sake of our children, I implore each of you to be unyielding and inflexible in your opposition to drugs.
Gross.
Our young people are helping us lead the way. Not long ago in Oakland, California, I was asked by a group of children what to do if they were offered drugs.
All right.
Take them.
This is hella
Take
It's
them.
painful, dude. It's like
Soon
nails
after
on a
that,
chalkboard.
Those children in Oakland formed a Just Say No club.
Whatever.
And now there are over 10,000 such clubs all over the country. Well,
You need
their
Spicoli to say you
participation,
dick.
their courage in saying no needs our encouragement.
Dun,
We can
dun,
help
dun,
by
dun.
using
So,
every opportunity.
Yeah, I have to answer this.
I'm a big fucking trouble, man. I'm coming to your house.
Coffee. Get up and get coffee. You're not doing anything.
get your own coffee, boy.
What are you doing
I'm
right
feeling
now? Anyway?
fucking zooted.
Yeah. Katie's going to come and take care of us. Katie's going to save the day.
Yeah.
She always saves the day.
Of course.
As long as you,
Landlady saves the day.
if you just sit there and complain long enough, someone will take care of it.
All right, that's enough of it. I hate her.
No, that person.
She's
that
like a
just
skeleton,
played
human skeleton, dude. She's
deserves
horrible.
the fucking the cunt.
Electric chair?
No, that what she did. Set back cannabis. I mean, it's almost like listening to my own voice. It triggers me.
Yeah.
Triggers all of us, dude.
Yeah.
Real.
I was there.
Fuck her. I mean, my aunt and uncle literally had cops rappel from a fucking helicopter and had their whole family with kids held at gunpoint because of her camp thing. So fuck her.
That's how we lost the skunk weed too.
Fuck her.
Yeah.
Not H.
Under her watch, yeah, for sure.
So what? We killed Freak. He can't get back on.
I don't know.
Where's the doctor?
Hi, doctor.
He's probably
Doctor,
restarting his computer right now or something, and
he's doing that
cursing us.
classic where you're waiting on a computer, like, come on, come
Remember
on.
the first time you turn the computer on, it restarts like 40 seconds.
Oh, it's forever.
in
No, but
now.
it feels like 2 hours,
Right.
Because especially when you know there's people waiting on you. It's like, let me just.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, here we go. He's coming in.
That's
He's
what it
coming in
is.
hot. Yeah, that's what happens.
It was only recently that I had a computer that I could restart during the break on America's Card Room, because they give you a 5-minute break, and sometimes you can tell something's just fucking up, and you don't want to be in a position where your computer fucks up and costs you money playing cards. So I'd restart the computer, and there were times I had a computer that took longer than the break. to restart them like that, you need a new computer then.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's have Caleb hang out with us on the no relax. Just let me tell you before you go jumping on. So let's have Caleb come on at the end, and we hang out with us also on Patreon, because then we're with our homies and we can.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I will text him.
Yep. Tell him he's on the late shift.
Caleb from Cicada Labs. Fuck yeah. Not a problem. Come on, freak. We're pulling for you.
Freak.
Everybody. Freak.
Ooh, now we're talking.
Freak. No music to go with
Yeah,
that.
but I'm growing. So the interesting part about it was, so I was on the Dark Star Seed Bank Instagram last night, live Instagram, and he was watching that, and then after the show, he was stoked to listen about the terps from the sage, and he was like, he had isolated the kind of that eucalyptus kind of terp from some Big Sur holy weed that he had. So it was like kind of like he we were on the same page there. And then I'm growing a pack of Freakshow, not from him, unfortunately. I'm going to get some from him in the future, but I had some seeds that I got from James, and I looked and he was like, oh, he's already selling on James's thing. That's awesome. And but it turns out, like I was saying before, it's his so he had selected one of the parts of the Freak Show, gave it to his dad. His dad put it out. Then it went to Humboldt, and there was. We'll get the story from him direct. How's that? How is that? But anyway,
where's he from? Where's Dr.
I think
Freak
they're
from?
Oregon based. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, which is of course what you'd expect from a multi-generational
crazy
growers
looking,
family. It's always going to be hopefully it'd be not hopefully, because it could be anywhere, of course. But if you're in those regions where there's lots of good old school genetics already there, it's like Florida, same thing, but in a different way. There's definitely multi-generational growers there for sure. Like, I've been running 10 houses. Now my kid's taking them over. And, like, I'm sure there's many there he is. Hey.
Yo.
What is going on?
There we go.
Yes, sir. We got it.
Took a second. I think the camera app was open or something in the background.
That's...
Hang on, let me turn this light off.
Yes, sir. A little back. Yep, there you go. Even better. Well, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thanks for doing it so quick. It's always that's the way we do it usually, because I think on a Thursday night is when I decide to do what to do anyway, because if I don't, it'll fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, it'll all just go to shit. It'll be like, so last night I was just explaining on the show how I was doing the live Instagram for Dark Star Seed Bank, and then you were in there.
Yeah.
And we did a little correspondence, and once I realized that your dad was Shapeshifter, I was like, oh, well, that's fucking. There's no bullshit here. Let's get straight to the point, because as we all know in this industry, you can be two people away from something, and it can all just be a bunch of bullshit, and you don't know yourself, and you're passing that information to your friends, and then they're spreading it even further.
The gospel.
Spreading,
You don't look anything like your plan.
Giving it to their buddy that writes some magazine or some shit, and then it gets written down in concrete, and it's like so far off from the truth.
Exactly. And I think it's cool. It's cool because you have such a unique line of genetics that there's no arguing. Like, you can't. A lot of strains you could get away with it because you'd be like, yeah, that's that, and you're like, you don't, But once you've seen what you have as far as the Freak Show line, again, blows everybody away. Every grower who's ever grown cannabis for 30 years will look at it and be like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? They have never seen anything like it.
Wild.
Yeah, it is
Absolutely
wild looking.
Yeah.
And you get the Adam Dunn Show seal of approval as you smoked within 30 seconds of being on the show without prompting. So,
we didn't even have to mention it. Already on it.
You fit right in here.
But yeah, man, freaking definitely a lot of misinformation about that strain out there that people kind of just, I don't know, went with whatever they thought off the top of their head and ran with it.
Well, tell me, because you mentioned when you texted me that you had found that holy banana plant and then gave it to you. Was it the holy banana or?
Yeah, if we really want to start with the whole history of Freak Show.
Yeah, let's do it, because I'm
take us on a journey.
I'm as curious as everybody because it's one of those things where, like I said, I'm literally 2 weeks into flower on them, so it's like for me, it's like I'm in that unknown zone. You know what I mean? So.
So yeah, if you really want to start back where it all started, it was like around probably 2014, and I used to do pheno hunts for my dad, and he's pheno hunting stuff, and the Pineapple Express was like something that he was totally into. He found a pheno that he liked, and he was going after it. And he had passed me, those holdbacks of the first pineapple that we had originally got. I pheno hunted him, and I gave him the pheno that I thought was the best back out of his selections. I chose the one that had the better structure, the better yield, the better commercial viability. And he was like, "No, you made the wrong selection. Like, this was a different terpene profile than the one that I want." And he's like, "We need to get the seeds again." So I ordered the seeds again. They come from freaking Attitude Seed Bank in like a little bear. It's like, in the bear's ass, like you gotta rip it open. And then that was the second version, Pineapple Express.
I'm sorry, but you're going to be played forever, ever on this show. That is now a new drop in the bear's ass. Oh, yes.
Oh,
for sure.
So yeah, anyways, out of the Pineapple Express 2, my dad went into there and he had selected maybe 2 or 3 phenotypes. There was a number 6 and a number 11. And that's like what we were smoking on like those past 2 years. It was fucking fire all the way down. You could relight it, and it still had like this pineapple fucking limonene kind of turn.
Was the second round the same as the first round? You feel like the seeds seemed to be similar, or they were no?
They were a lot different, you know. But that's what the plant ended up coming out of. So the number 6, so it's number 2, Pineapple Express number 2. G13 Labs made 2 different versions, and the number 2 version was the one that got put into Freakshow, Berry Freak, and all these other kinds that have the mutation now. Well, anyways, the number 11, my dad had ended up hitting with a holy banana. I was like, obsessed about banana terps when I first started reading. So I've sought out all the different banana Kush. I got the original Oregon Kid banana OG, and then there was this holy banana that I knew this dude fucking Coastal Seed Co. had bred.
Okay, I know Coastal. Coastal's always got good stuff.
Yeah, I went to go meet him out up north. It was like a little event or whatever. This was like 2015, 2016. I got those holy banana beans from him and freaking took them back. And my dad sprouted those. And one male that came out of there, he hit that to his 211. And that 211 is what made Freakshow. So when he did that F1, he found one plant that displayed 17 leaflets. So instead of, like the high numbers that we're used to seeing, like a 13 or like a 14 or a 15 occasionally.
That's already super rare. You know what I mean? Like 11, right, 11 and you're already like impressed. Like, whoa, dude, 11.
Yeah, so this one, the resulting hybrid on the F1s had a 17, and he was like, whoa, So he sprouted some more. And
that was a male? And that was a male or that was a female?
That was a female
okay.
on that F1, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, we noticed some of the sprouts were coming up with 3s or 5s for their true leaves. Like instead of coming up and having a single for its first true leaf, these would have 3s, 5s, or even 7s. And from that's where he started his initial selection program. Like he would just start a bunch of his seeds, and then he'd select the ones that had 3s and 5s. And then out of that's where the mutation popped up, out of breeding those types together.
That's
and
cool.
Yeah, during the same time, I had took that same exact holy banana male and just hit it to everything that we had at one of the facilities I was working at. So I hit it to Tangy, Banana OG, Straw Nana, the Pineapple 2.6, Pheno, which nobody else has, and then the Pineapple 2.11. And out of that's where I worked my lines, the Berry Freak, my Menthol Skunk. And it was interesting hearing you talk about the sage and the Big Sur Holy Weed connection. Like I finally made that kind of link because that's exactly what the menthol skunk smells like, bro. Like it smells like eucalyptus. It's super off-putting to some people, but it's a special terpene. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep this line and just take it a different direction. So I took the same cross as Freakshow, and mine kind of smelled like a menthol in one direction and then a berry in the other direction. Freakshow is like locked in as like a jack terpenoline, some people say like a pineapple fruit smell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's I was curious about the terps on it just because it's like I see it. I've seen it hybridized a lot, and obviously that's going to be different. But on its own, you know, I was always imagining that it's more muted. I wasn't sure if it was like super terpy or if it had more of a.
Oh, it's super terpy, man. It's just my own personal reading. Like I went away from that direction, you know. Like
no, we all know. We all know. Everybody wants to get out of the jack zone. You know what I mean? You're like shit.
Yeah.
Because then once people can like think they know what it is, it's like that's why GMO is going to fuck up the hash game because everybody's going to use it for everybody's using it because it dumps, and then it's been used in almost every cross that dumps, and then you get like stuff that like thing with Jack is, and I've always said this from the beginning, it's because I was there working at Sensi when they first like released it. So as an original plant before, this is like in 1996, I think it was, and it was 11-way hybrid, right? So an 11-way hybrid means it's a dog's breakfast, right? It's like there's no way you could not have tons and tons of like you're not getting a stable thing out of 11-way hybrid. You're getting a full mix. So you like took all the paint and you just kept fucking adding all these colors, and you're like, yeah, it's getting better and better and better and better and better. Oh my God, it's fucking brown, dude. Yeah. And so to me, I just call that the brown terp now because it's like you just smell it and you're like, it's fucking too much. Because when you first ever smell it, it's the most unique thing you've ever smelled because you've never smelled it before. But now after years and years and years, and I think what happens is a lot of projects people do is they overdo it, right? I took this and I crossed that with this and I did that with this and I did this with that. And if they're lucky, they get a jack terp out of that. You know what I mean? Like they've already fucked it up. And to them, that's like because then you get bad jacks, right? You get the ones that are like just a little bit of jack and mostly hay, you know what I mean? And that's like the worst, you know, that's like, not only is it hay,
it's hard to lose that terpene though, bro. Like Jack is dominant.
It's so strong.
That's what I mean. You can't get away from it. It's really hard.
That's the problem with GMO too. It's like it comes out dominant on the F1. You could process it as something that was terpy as hell, and all of a sudden it smells like GMO. It covers it up completely.
No, that's exactly what I'm saying.
That was kind of my premises behind taking, the Berry Freak into the direction I did, is because now that I'm making these hybrids, my whole goal is to get these mutants to wash. And this profile is way easier to work with. Like, when I make an F1 hybrid, I'm more than likely going to get some of the terpene profiles off of what I'm outcrossing to it. I mean, with the Freakshow, I see a lot of hybrids and they smell like Freakshow, dude. Like, it's more stabilized in that terpene department. And once it's locked in, it becomes a dominant trait. Definitely not recessive.
Okay, because that's interesting. I was wondering about that as far as receiving. So from a male point of view, how does it pass? How does that work?
From my experience, I was having better results using if I'm looking for the trait, like the leaf trait, the pinnate. I would do better using the female actually. Okay. I did a lot of the pinnate males to different crosses, and my resulting hybrids where I use the female pinnate type. I get better results in my F1s, finding more serrated type. Essentially, I find more recessive types in those F1s, and then it makes it super easy for me to take it to F2 and then make the selections that I need to make from there.
Right, and if you use the male, you tend to get like 25% of them do that, and then the rest are kind of going normal, or what's the sort of breakdown on those?
For the serrated trait that you're talking about, it can't really be put into stone, man. Like, essentially it's a co-dominant trait, and every plant that you cross it to, it'll interact differently. So depending on where the genes land, where the alleles are landing at, how the plant is crossing the other one, you'll see different results for different outcrosses. I've seen outcrosses where 25% of them come out serrated on the F1. I've seen F1s where 0 come out serrated on the F1. But almost 50 to 70% are recessive, meaning if you take them and you breed them, even though they look like normal plants, they're going to throw, mutant plants. Mm-hmm. Like I just had M1GB, which is a garlic icing that I crossed to my Berry Freak, and I crossed that to Arroz con Leche, which is a hash making strain from another company, and that resulting F1 threw a serrated pheno out of like 10 that I popped or something like that. So it's 25% Berry Freak, 75% other genetics, and it's still throwing the trait on an F1. So it really depends on what plant you're using to outcross, what selections were done before you did the outcross, and just what you're crossing to in general.
Mm-hmm. I'm taking the photos that you gave me yesterday. I'm going to send those over to Mark, and then you can.
Mark's leaving. Send him to Vinny.
I'll send him to Vinny. I'll send him to somebody. Don't worry, I got you. And you can tell us about some of those ones. And so you have a so you've been selling through James for a while too. So he said you've been there for a few years now, right? With James?
Yeah. He's always been cool, man. Freaking, I think he was probably one of the first people that picked up some of those Berry Freak packs.
Yeah. No, because it's
people are still popping some of those F2s and the V1s right now, and they're popping great, man. And freaking people are having good results with those too. But it's cool to like look back into some of the older crosses, and like you'll see the variation that was there. Here, I'll show you right now. Like I have some of my F3s that I'm working on right now.
Mm-hmm. Take care.
See you, Mark.
Now it's impossible to see on this video, but these are all 100% pinnate. Some of them are banana berry free. Some of them are my berry free.
Okay, yeah, you can see it.
F3.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is actually a hybrid.
Yeah.
So this is banana OG to holy banana back to berry freak. And the in crosses tend to do really well also. Like if you have something that's already crossed and has the recessive trait, you could create F1s that'll throw the trait too. Like I just did it was a lilt by Berry Freak, Trichome Jungle Seeds lilt. We did a little collaboration and came out with some cool lilt berries out of that. And I think it was the F2. It was the F2 crossed to Berry Freak. So lilt berry to berry melon soda, which was Berry Freak to watermelon soda that I had selected. And those resulting F1s ended up throwing a pinnate phenotype because you have recessive on both sides. But now you have 25% that kind, 25% that kind, 50% the Berry Freak.
Dope.
Those are interesting too. So that's a lot of the work that I had kind of been doing the past 3 or 4 years. Is I put together a lot of crosses where the resulting hybrids will make pinnate phenotypes. So if you take 2 of my types that are Berry Freak hybrids, cross them together, you could go ahead and get a fern type out of that, or some really cool mutants of your own resulting hybrids. So just taking away some of the work, some of the steps for people.
Yeah, I got they weren't from you. There was old pack that I got from Humboldt via James. So James gave it to me at one point, and I remember, and it was funny. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, it takes a lot for me to like crack a pack of seeds from some random thing that I got. You know what I mean? Because usually it's like I got so much. I mean, every breeder has probably 10 lifetimes worth of work to go through, and so it's sort of like you don't want to fuck up the mix by trying too many little side projects because you can't put your whole heart into it unless you. But I was like, oh, this is something that I've been interested in just because, it's like such a easy trait to follow. It's not like it's not like I'm putting 2 cousins together and I'm gonna get like some almost the same thing, which is not exciting at all. It's more like, okay, this could go really cool. And I got a lot of males, which is interesting, but I also got this one that was not fully ferned out, and so for me that was actually like, oh, okay, this is kind of what I was thinking something the next step would look like. You know what I mean? But it also had.
So I call those the V1.
Yeah.
So the V1 stands for variety 1, and then V2, the fern-looking one, variety 2.
Gotcha.
And what I do is I use the variety 2 phenotypes to create hybrids that make variety 1 hybrids. And that's it seems counterproductive, like you're using something that doesn't look like the other one. But what you're looking at when you see that deeply serrated plant, that's a co-dominant phenotype. Co-dominant meaning it's sharing the traits from the recessive plant with the normal leaf-shaped plant, and it's obvious as day. That's what it is. It's almost going into the fern plant, but still has the perfectly palmate leaflet. You know.
Yeah. I just sent a bunch of photos over to Vinny. He'll pop them up so people can see it. And I had like, so what I got with that one was like also those multiple leaves coming off the middle of the thing. So it's just like, and it's funny because I guess 1991, when I was working at Sensi Seeds, they had like, we had just got in Neville's stuff, right? And they were cleaning, and I wish I could go back like so many times. I'm like, fuck, if I could just go back to that time. I was just like too timid, and I wasn't really like give me more, give me all these things, right? I was just kind of like, yeah, I'll take something, you know, because they were like, hey, we're cleaning this out, and they're cleaning out the drawers, you know what I mean? And they were like, we're cleaning this out, you guys, will you want any of these? And I'm like looking through it, and I see this one. It was called Four and More, which was so you had 4-way, which is a pretty well-known strain, and then it's a 4-way hybrid of 4-way indica hybrid, right? Then they had this one called 4 and More, which is a 4-way sativa hybrid, and I grew them out, and they were like exactly like the same vibe. Like they had like really heavy serration, they were real short, and real like looked like a pineapple when it was growing, right? And it was like, that doesn't look like a sativa, that looks really weird. And it was kind of a weird color too, like almost a gray tone, like a light, like olive drab or something. They weren't really like vibrant, and I wasn't really sure about it all. And then but they also had that same thing, leaflets growing out the middle, buds growing in the middle of the leaves, all this weird mutations. And then like I harvested it, and I dried it, and I was smoking it, and I looked over, and I was so bummed out that I cut it down, because I was like, oh my God, dude, it tastes like a pure haze. Like it was like the ultimate plant. It was like a short pineapple that tasted like haze. I was like, dude, where do you get that? When do you ever get that? Never. And it was like, I looked over, and I was like, ugh, and they literally said to me, here's the last pack. And I was like, oh, cool. And I grew them out, and it was actually one of the very first grows I did in Holland. So it was kind of like learning their little system, which was weird. And it was like this whole combination of like learning their system, thinking up, whatever, this is just something cool. And then later, that's like the one that got away from me forever. Like I'm just always think back, like, fuck, if I could ever do this, because that was something special, you know what I mean? It was old school sativa, somehow magically it tasted like sativa, but it grew like this little weird, bizarre mutation, which is awesome. Pop those photos up just like slow, so he can.
So do you have, when this happens to you in 91?
Yeah.
Do you ever say to yourself, you know what? I'm just going to institute this plan.
I can't wait.
I'm
like in 2
always
years.
going to clone.
Yeah.
If I don't know, I've got
no. In Holland, it was so small, dude. I was growing in these little tiny little areas and stuff. All right, so these are some of the shots you sent me yesterday.
Yeah, that's one of the M1GB that facility out in Maine had hunted.
Tasty.
Beautiful plant. It's a really, really loud mixed berry profile, and then the kind of comes into this menthol nose with a slight like funk on the back end. Super berry forward though.
Looks like a low leaf plant too, right? Just like kind of boom, boom, like pack them in tight. Don't have to leave.
It is. It fills in nice. It doesn't have too bad of a leaf ratio.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just waiting on the results to come back to see if that plant washes. If that washes, that'll be the direction that I probably go for those, the mutant phenotypes for that project.
Right.
But I got a bunch of other hybrids that I have a lot of high hopes for too.
And then this one, the more red one, which one is this?
That's M1GB also, just a different.
Oh, it's a different pheno, or is it?
Wow.
I think that's the same pheno, just a top and the other.
Okay, different part of the plant. Gotcha.
Two different cycles though.
Okay. And keep going. There's another one. Yeah. Okay, that's like a half mutation. That's like kind of the halfway ones.
Yeah, that's the V1, the variety one. So that was, I think that was actually a F1 that I had found in the Lilt by Berry Freak. And I just kind of crossed it into that Lilt because that Lilt actually had a similar profile to the original Pineapple Express. And when I talked to him a little bit longer, he was telling me how, you know, his lilt had some of that pineapple, and how that pineapple over there in Europe or whatever, it's like a certain common one that's like always used, you know? So I don't know. I figured I would try to cross back into something similar. And that one ended up smelling like a pineapple throw up, way more like the Freakshow than my Berry Freak, that particular hybrid. But way more pineapple and like foul.
I just sent a new picture. Put that one up after this one.
Is this the same?
No, that's a different one. But put the one that I just sent you. I just sent you a new one, just to show you how it's similar. Like, boom, that's the one that's the mail that I pulled out. So you can see how it's almost like the same.
So that mail that you have that you sent me the picture of.
Yeah, this is one right here. Or the real mail, or the other one. I have the other one that's a fern one too. I can say.
Yeah, the fern one. If you take the fern one and you cross that into any normal type plant, you'll end up with a lot of phenos that look like that. On some F1s, not all your F1s, but some crosses.
Yeah.
You could just pull that right out of there on your F1 cross.
No, and it's funny because that's exactly what I was thinking. So for me, it was sort of like, okay, now this is what would happen if I was doing that selection. So I was going to do one of those, and one, which the next photo that I just sent to Vinny.
Oh, I know all about that.
Is the fern? That's the fern mail that I got also. So that should do it.
If you cross those and you hit like whatever is your regular kind, your V1 that come out of there, it's recessive. So as soon as you see the one that comes out of the deeply serrated trait on your F1, you practically got it, because if you have a male that's showing the deeply serrated trait and you have a female that's showing the deeply serrated trait, you have a fern type on your F2.
Yeah.
I have some leaves hanging here of the original ones.
What the heck?
I got another one somewhere else.
Is that his brand logo on his shirt?
I think so.
Somebody's a deadhead.
Interesting.
You're quick.
This is something I want to do more of, actually, is document all of the hybrids and, kind of frame them up just so like people could, it's reflecting on the screen.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Oh, turn it. Yeah, go off the screen. Nope.
Tilt backwards.
Go backwards like you were.
Tilt.
Right there. Right there. Boom. Yeah. So that's like a V1. That's a V1 right there, basically.
That was my V1 male that I selected for my very first. So when I made my hybrids, that was the very first one that I ever selected. That was a male, and then this is the female.
Do the same thing. Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
Interesting. Okay. So that was and that was the same round, and then you did a F2 from those two.
I had to go through 130 seeds to find those two, though.
The job.
And then this was my selection out of the resulting cross.
Wow.
God damn.
That's crazy.
That's fernalicious.
Yeah.
Wild.
And you can tell that's not a little fucking leaf, dude.
That's a big leaf.
It's a cross.
That's sick.
I would want to send this to everywhere that there is.
No, I know.
illegal.
Tropical. Every tropical. What's also interesting too is I'm sure you've probably follow him too. You know that canna-renaissance guy, right? From Thailand. He's been doing a lot of freak. He's been doing a lot of freak show hybrids, right? So
the guy actually in Thailand.
Yeah, his name is
he makes
canna-renaissance.
The Freak and some other show hybrids.
So what he's noticed is that it really does well in tropical environments, which is like awesome.
I've been told the same thing. I had sent or some had got out to Portugal somehow. And, they do great out there. So there was another company, and they had the idea, hey, we want to grow all these different mutant kinds.
No, I think and for the whole equatorial region, you should just I can link you. I'll link you up with my people in Santa Marta, and they'd be down to do some breeding, I'm sure, with it, and see in the actual, because it's crazy when you're in those places, you realize like, oh, you know what? Unless you're up in the hills, you're not in a good. You're not really in a good cannabis environment. You're in the kind of, it's too wet and too much pathogens and too many, too much bullshit to deal with, and then too much pressures in the lower areas. And once you get up high enough, okay, of course, and that's why there's like little regions. So Santa Marta, being a great cannabis region, is now doing a lot of hemp stuff, and they're also, I mean, for them, even just to put it into other anything growing in those regions, like, because what happens is they grow decently, but then they go into flower and then they mold out like a motherfucker, and part of that is because the leaves are all holding all the moisture at night, and so those things obviously aren't going to hold as much. So there's definitely seems to make.
I think for breeding too. I mean, when you take something like that that's so different, and you take it into those areas and you breed it for a generation or two, where it recognizes those climates and gets acclimatized, it could do something really special. I mean, we don't really know the potential of something like that, you know?
Well, he said that all his hybrids do really well, so that's good. That's a good sign because, especially
I can tell because there's a lot of people out there, and that's you know the main thing I see them breeding with. It's like there's tons of options of shit they could have bred with, but they're choosing to make very freaking and freak show hybrids out in those countries.
Well,
and it's you know maybe it's partly to do with it looks exotic, it looks different, and also partially the fact that there is less kind of beast mass to kind of get PM and
no,
other stuff.
and I think the heat's probably one of the main issues, right? Because so it's like the
sweating.
the temperature, and then all indicas don't do well in any kind of tropical environment. That's just like a bad move from day. You have to get off the ground. You can't be near the ground. Anything near the ground is going to get eaten up or molded out. So it's got to stretch enough, and so it's I think especially if you cross that into local stuff, which that's the whole thing about Thailand is they're very obviously, and they should be proud of the genetics that they already have, and they shouldn't lose all those genetics. But if they get something that helps it out, but it's funny because if you go to Thailand, you're going to be able to just be like, look at that, there's one, boop, I'm seeing my shit everywhere, because it's like you.
I would love to see like a really pure skinny leaf Thai, and I see they're working on it, and I think it's going to just be a matter of kind of like, it's just the genes have to land correctly. A super skinny leaf one, like, the extremely narrow leaf with that V1 trait would look phenomenal. Like, it would look like an ornamental, fucking type of plant completely. What are those called? A Japanese maple, like the ornamental ones.
Well, you're certainly never going to have to worry about somebody ever claiming that they have, that it's not your genetics.
Well, that's the cool part about it. It's like
that happens all the time, dude.
It's like Dave rolling back into Asia with it, and then walks around.
I've actually
you see all these redheaded kids, and then hey, Dave, what's going on around here? You were here 20 years ago. Now look at all these 20-year-old kids.
What are you talking about?
Hey,
we're on the fucking area.
I've had places where I've distributed seeds before, like a very small amount of seeds to like a specific person, and 4 or 5 years later, oh yeah, I have this 10G Jack, and it happens to just throw the same exact trait, and it's like,
yeah, right.
Bro, like no, like we all know the lineage, like the background on all these plants. Like some of these plants that they say it comes from, it's like this, it's been around for 20 plus years, and no one's seen anything like that. When we first brought it around, like all the breeders, Mean Gene, and all the up north breeders, they were just like, what is this? Like, we've never seen anything like this, whatsoever. And freaking, as time went on,
Did anybody figure out? Has anybody like taken it to a lab and tried to figure out how it did this exact mutation?
I wanted to. I tried for a long time I wanted a full genotype, like. And that's part of the like crazy story, man. Like, I guess there's a lot more to the backstory of Freakshow too, honestly.
I bet you could do. I mean, you could definitely talk for hours about it, because I think it's one of those ones where, again, like you were just saying about how all the breeders are telling you they popped up a trait. Like, yeah, sure, it's like it's exactly.
It's like your bubble gum, bro. The story that you were telling, where you could trace it back to back, who you handed seeds to physically, and the messages are all there, everything. It's the same exact thing on certain stuff like that. Like, so during this time, me wanting so badly to get
it's like somebody going like, look what I bred, and you're like, dude, that's fucking sour diesel. What are you talking about? Like, dude, I did it myself. You're like, yeah, right. So you just magically grew just the exact same thing that we've all seen. Like, and I've seen people do
it happens to have the same terpene profile, and they know us, and they got seeds from us. Like, it's not even like, oh, dude pops up on the other side of the country with like no connection and like doesn't even have access to these beans or nothing. It's always someone that has direct access to the beans directly from us.
Yeah.
But anyways, I wanted to genotype it, and back before the Phylos debacle had happened, that was one of the ones they wanted to get their hands on so fucking bad,
Oh, I bet.
And I was dumb, I was fucking naive, and I had, passed them out the freaking cut. and not necessarily the cut, but they wanted pieces of stems that were fresh. This was before I had knowledge of tissue culture and what could be done with that piece of
motherfuckers,
whatever piece of tissue. And anyways, so they had got that. They put it on their little map before that whole little debacle had happened. But the crazy thing is, the lady that took the sample for me had took off to go work at another facility. She literally stopped working at Philos that day that she got the fucking sample, went to work at another facility. Then that other facility is the second person I think a year after Freakshow was finally released, that claimed, oh, we found the same thing. But then they had a whole bunch of hashtags saying open source, this and that. Like, I'm not dumb, bro. Like, I know when people have, ulterior motives or intentions where they're trying to do something for like the greater good of the community, but at the same time, like, it's already for everyone. It's already everywhere. It's funny
because as you say, when you say the way you said it, I already know in my head exactly the whole. I know who you're talking about. I know where, like at the time, and I'm like, oh my god, like it's so classic. You know what I mean? Because
no, I've even seen some people try to claim that they like Freakshow came from their genetics. Kid in Vermont. Do you know of someone in Vermont also claiming that the Fernleaf thing?
Never heard of them, but also that there was like right when the HE had came out, so before the actual, mutant phenos had came out, there was definitely like a good 2 pounds or more of seeded up bud that had got out there into circulation too. But, I don't know where any of that stuff went, and like I've never heard anyone else claim specifically that they originated those from that same line. I have all the documentation, showing the whole way through, what I crossed, when I crossed it.
Oh, you could have it on video, and it still wouldn't matter. Someone will want to take credit for your work. It is not exclusive.
Well, that's the crazy thing is, like, that's why I wanted to get the genotype. Like, I could literally probably genotype their shit, prove that it's connected, and these people will still be like, oh, no, dude, yours is connected to ours because it came from us.
Right.
Then you just play that game.
Right.
I don't know. I know what happened, and like I wanted the legacy to stay, real for, my family and my kids. My daughter, she's starting to breed now. She took over her mom's brand. Wow. She was breeding a lot of stuff that was related to that same stuff, the mutants. That was her favorite.
So now you're truly a third generation. Now you're into third generation growers. Did your grandfather grow weed or just your dad?
My dad's dad was like a farmer too, but like he wasn't.
Oh, he grew weed.
My dad's a breeder. He was, since I was born, he was breeding cannabis, and like that's what I was seeing go down.
And you said your daughter? You look like you're one of these kids here.
I know,
30 years old.
You guys are all like in shock.
I'm 33 this year.
And you have a daughter breeding right now. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Very efficient, obviously. Obviously very efficient at breeding.
Man.
Gets weird.
Well, that's a story that needs to be
I didn't want to hold her back from it, man. Like her mom always had kind of let her into the room, and like she'd always smell the plants. She's only 13 right now, but she knows how the male crosses to the female, how the resulting crosses
the birds and the bees.
Out. I'm sure she understands that.
What she wants to do with her mom. She takes what she looks at and kind of thought that she was doing that special, and it's like I'm not going to stop her from doing that. If she knows how to sprout a fucking seed, why would I stop her?
Yeah, no, she learned how to grow plants, of course.
She probably understands the math better than most growers do when it comes to.
I think the first seed that I sprouted when I was probably 15, dude. I mean, honestly. Yeah. First shit I sprouted was when I was 15.
It's all Viagra. It needs a Viagra on that joint.
17, I think. The first cross I made was a Pineapple Express by G. That was the first thing I ever did.
Wait, they did the movie about you? Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome.
No, it's cool because again, it's always great to see families that growing together, because it's also like, how it is. You can't leave town otherwise. You're like stuck because you can't trust anybody else. And if you're in the family, it's like okay, you know who's good at what, right? Like you're like, all right, so you're taking care of the watering while I'm gone, because otherwise you got some people who are, they're better at mother plants and clones, and other people are better at just pushing the plants to their limits, So.
Oh yeah, dude, I just recovered. Well, I'm not entirely recovered, but I had just broke freaking my arm and my freaking both wrists.
Oh wow,
dude. So I was like, reliant on kind of having people help me do shit that I was, normally used to doing fucking 100% of the time. And like, then I had to kind of delegate certain things and really figure out who can do what,
Right.
There was no choice.
How'd you break?
I was going to ask. Was it a hold my beer, watch this?
It sounds like a activity related her injury or something.
Yeah. Just a general accident.
Okay, all right. No need to elaborate. He's like, sounds like either like, I fucked up, or bike accident or something like that. Usually, because usually when you're
he doesn't want to talk about it.
Both
Adam.
hands usually means you're going down hard. Right?
So is that your company logo on your shirt?
Uh-oh.
It was a little special box that I did. I had made a little collection of all the berry freak hybrids that I did, and it was just like a best of box. It's Grateful Dead, obviously.
Obviously. Tell us about them.
Yeah, the Bertha logo.
Oh, I didn't notice that at all. Thanks for pointing that out. What did you say it was? Bertha?
Yeah, something like that.
Is your dad the deadhead, or is it you?
Me.
All right. Well, I'm not allowed to tell dead stories on the show, or I get hate mail. So I won't do it. But I love the Grateful Dead. Adam does. He just doesn't know.
Another deadhead. Freaking. We were laughing about it the other day. We were saying the trick to staying looking young is just a little bit of some magic hell, and freaking maybe it's true.
Well, we've had a few members of Dark Star Orchestra on the show, so if you ever get a chance to see them, they do the music justice. And Telly even had a Grateful Dead song on his fucking Instagram today.
Telly.
Blowing glass.
So,
blowing glass to Fire on the Mountain.
There you go. There were plenty of other fire songs you could have put in there. You chose the Grateful Dead because they rock.
I didn't put it in there. That was in the studio.
Oh, sure. Whatever. Pass the buck, Telly.
Well, I think because we also run out of time, but I think we should revisit at some point, and as I roll through my crop, because I was originally thinking like, we'll do a show when I harvest and we'll talk about it, but now we did one now, and then in about 6 weeks from now I'll have harvest. I'll be so say about 8 weeks from now we should get together again on the show, and
yeah, dude. I mean, I wasn't really even sure if I was going to come on as super late notice when we were talking last night. I was like, fuck it, man. I haven't went and done no podcast with anybody, so I was like,
that's how we roll.
No,
sorry.
And it's also funny because I really wanted to find your dad, not knowing anything about him or anything, and I just knew that, like, because I knew from James, all I knew from James was he said, I asked him about it, and he goes, oh, he just pulled all his shit and got kind of like, it sounded like it was all getting kind of weird, and I was like, all right, you know what? I don't even want to get involved. I'll wait until the dust clears, because of just like because I was like, again, like I came to him thinking it was Humboldt that had done it at first, you know what I mean?
Oh.
And then I got the backstory.
That's all I knew.
And that's, so then I got the backstory, and then I was like, oh, that's cute, that's interesting. But then I heard like, once I hear that there's sort of like any kind of like, fault, not that Humboldt said that they invented it or anything like that, but it's just, I think that was the public's sort of, because they put it out professionally, you know what I mean? So everybody kind of was like, oh, okay. So I always thought that they had done this selection on it, but once I realized it was somebody else, and then when you said is my father, I was like, I gotta get this is like, it's like a scoop right there, because I love the
tons of great work done on your guys' part too.
My sister's actually helping my dad right now try to kind of release some of that original stuff kind of through their own source. So my dad's brand was High Elevation Genetics.
Okay.
That's what, besides the Freakshow, man, he had made, hundreds, if not thousands of other crosses, He was just kind of one of those people that was, underground and decided to remain that way for a long time. And I kind of grew up, you know, the same way with a lot of the same kind of belief systems too. So I feel like that's kind of another reason why I'm kind of barely getting around to bringing my stuff to rec market and bringing some of my genetics over here. It already started getting released like kind of massively out in Michigan and Maine. And I was like, you know, it's already all over those rec spots. So now I'm working on bringing it over here in California where I'm at.
Right. Yeah, no, it's one of those things where I feel like the people who are the people who have the hardest time like capitalizing on the moment are the people who are the most passionate. You know what I mean? Because for them, it's like a whole other side of everything where it's like the, you know, for me, like I think
turns your art into something you're trying to make money out of and ruins it.
Well, he changes everything a little bit, and you're like kind of like, you know, none of us are that interested in that. All of us are just interested in the work side, and then all of a sudden,
you know, like that's the main thing that I saw about certain projects is, you know, like I was working on certain things, and you know, I saw where, you know, other things got rushed to market essentially because it was already there in a way. But there could have been more work done to kind of represent it in a better way and to market it in a better way, you know.
Good day. Nothing gets past that side of the table. You know that, right?
I think, dude, honestly, I'm gonna keep pushing it. I think the future, dude, is whole plant, fresh, frozen. When those mutants start washing, if you're a facility, bro, and you're growing the, you know, perfect, as long as they're growing at the normal rate as everything else, and you're getting the same yields as everything else, those facilities are going to stand out. Like you have a whole, you know, entire facility with screen, you know, shots of those mutant plants and their washers. You know, you're doing 4 or 5 plus, and you don't got to trim no more. You just bucket and you know, because the leaves, when you see them finally flower out, they're super sparse, but they're covered in resin. You know, I have a lot of macro photography where you could see the trichomes on the fan leaves are quality, like they're washable type of trichomes. Nice. So when the genes land and, you know, the trichome heads become a little bit larger, the necks break easier with some of these strains that I'm crossing into, the potential for a whole plant fresh frozen mutant is like, there's no reason it's not going to be there, because if I don't have it on the 50/50s, I could go ahead and back cross, you know, to the plant that's washing and then select leaf back out. And if I'm not where I want, I could do the same thing again. It's only 2 generations each time away from the mutation. So at the end of the day, in the future, people will have 99% Tangy with 1% Freakshow or 1% Berry Freak, and it'll have the leaf, you know? The breeding...
It's the Jack Hare of the leaf world. It's just gonna, I got 1% and I fuck you up.
Right now, everyone's back crossing to the freak plants. Like they're like, oh, I want to get the leaf back out. So what they do is they get a freak show and they back cross it to freak show after they make their hybrid. They make their F1 and they're like, I don't see the leaves. Oh, I need to back cross the one that has the leaves. But if we want to advance the plant and, you know, take it to the next level and make it into something commercial, you know, production quality, we want to, you know, cross it into the quality cultivar that we have now. It's like taking an old Afghan that doesn't look so great, or an old, you know, landrace type, and you're gonna breed it into the modern day.
Dude, you're brilliant. I mean, I'm sorry, that was Vinny trying to be funny.
Vinny was trying to be funny.
95% of the time, he is. Yeah.
But yeah, you get what I'm saying, though. Essentially, it's like with any cross. You know, you start at a certain point, and we're there. You know, so continuing to make selections for the same exact thing, you're gonna just have more of the same thing. If you want to back cross the freak show, you're gonna have more freak show. But if you want to have something with a new terpene profile, we should outcross, line breed, and then back cross into our favorite plants, take it to the next generation, select the mutants, and go back again if you don't find what you like. But in the F1s, there's amazing
mutants.
It's awesome. Again, like we're gonna do with 8 weeks actually. 8 weeks, we'll do another show, and then I'll try to get some other combos. And if you want, if you can convince your dad to come on the show, that'd be very cool.
Well, maybe you
can tell him we're all right. You can say these guys are all right. They're not a bunch of douchebags.
Well, you know what's crazy, man, is that, you know, when I was growing up, that's what my dad was hunting, was year to year. So when I was, you know, 14, 15, he was hunting sage. He was hunting bubblegum. You know, I remember you know, 5-6 pound bubblegum plants where there was like a space that could hold, I don't know, like 50 plants, and he fit 3 big ass plants, you know.
Nice.
Fucking,
That's awesome. I love to. Yeah, we'll tell him.
Well, and maybe he wants to just come on
That's what we were
Patreon
smoking, man. The
and
sage
just get his
is
toes
still-
wet.
No,
with
he's
it.
not. He's not there. No,
Oh,
together. So.
got it.
Yeah, it's cool.
Let him finish. You said the sage is.
What's that?
The sage and sour is one of my favorite, man. It still is.
Nice.
I'm gonna got some that I'm gonna pop that are from maybe like 6 or 7 years ago.
That's awesome.
How about a freak sage?
It's one of those ones. It's one of those ones where, yeah, with freakage. We said the freakage. The freakage. Get your freakage on.
Oh,
But
sick.
no. But in general, it's
Those are related genetics in there too, because you got the big Sir Holy Weed in the freak too.
right. Oh, that's awesome.
For
Yeah.
sure.
In general, it's like one of those ones where the sage and sour just it seemed to, even though there are like a lot of different phenos, they're not all like it's not all like locked in where it's like that is it. It's whereas sage was a little bit more like. You knew which one to look for, right? The sage and sour has a little variance between it, but they're all fire, and they're like, and for some reason they're keepers. Everybody's like, oh, got it. You know, I've seen them all.
My dad had actually selected that for a while, and he took it, you know, his own direction.
Yeah.
I think he might have took it maybe 3 or 4 generations of his own selections. And out of that, I remember some weird shit would pop out. Like there was some sweet phenotypes.
Mhm.
Like you think about that cross and you wouldn't think nothing sweet. And there was this one that I swear, dude, was like the epitome of like a sour Skittle smell.
Wow.
And it was just like completely, you know,
Way
a
before
option.
pre-Skittles.
It was.
Pre-Skittles?
Per-Skittles. What's it called? It's under stream.
It was like a sour Skittle, and people would say that too.
That's
Fucking
funny.
that shit at least actually smell like.
Well, there's
candy.
definitely a few recessive things in there because the whole thing is with the sage is it's you know, it's from our friends in NorCal who were up in Big Sur growing, and they had mixture between the chamba, which is an African plant, like a Mexican. There was a lot of old school genetics in there, which also have there were a bunch of other shits coming out of them. So there's like, and the Affy though the chamba, which is a real high THCV terpenol. That's the terpenolini side of everything, you know, which kind of dominated, but yet not as bad as the. Like now you think of terpenolene, you think of Jack, but Jack's just one element of it. It's like it's that thing that's in the G13s from 2, that style, you know, where you're just like that type weird soapy something. It's like a real high vibe stuff compared to a lot of the other shit that's all muted and you see like more. So it's that special shit, right? I think African weed is one of the most.
My dad was
the
always
least,
going for a sativa buzz. Like that was his thing. He didn't want anything indica. Like he would. A lot of my selections that I'd make, or you know, I'd bring in my flower. He'd be like, it puts you in the fucking couch. Like it makes you worthless. Blah blah blah. This and that.
Yeah. Classic dad son relationship. Your weed makes me tired, kid. It's kid weed.
Yeah.
I want the.
And his whole thing was trying to get, you know, a sativa buzz into a semi indica package too. Like that was his whole thing, you know.
That was sage. Yeah, that was sage in a nutshell. That's what we wanted. You know, that's what we were looking for too.
You'll notice though the terpene profile, like on the freak when it's done, like it definitely has a more sativa leaning buzz. You know, like that stuff doesn't really, you know, make you tired.
You want to go on a 5-mile hike, and then you want to destroy a bag of Doritos when you get home and sit on the couch and watch airport narcotics intervention shows.
Wow, look at you! You got it dialed in.
That's you.
No, not the
Doritos. You won't eat those.
No Doritos. You killed me on that idea.
Extra MSG.
Well, cool,
for him.
Max. Thanks for coming through. And like I said, on the short notice. No, you're coming back. You already got him scheduled.
Yeah.
Got him scheduled. Talk to your dad. See if we can get him on too. That'd be great. And maybe by that time you have a new drop that we can hype up or something like that, because you got 8 weeks, man. That's just about enough time.
I got freaking cuts for sale, man. I'm gonna freaking keep hyping up that M1GB cut that I got right there.
Okay.
Wait, hang on a sec. What did you just say, Kyle? You wanted to tell him about NFC?
Oh, yeah,
before he
and-
left.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about NF seeds and.
No,
and
but
all
for
that.
sure. Yeah, I've already told him we're getting them on board. So
Perfect.
Oh, I like that. I like the idea too, man. I think that's where it's at.
Oh, I
It's a good idea.
appreciate it. Yeah, let's get you involved, man.
Yeah, I like the ideas too. Like, I mean, that's something that's kind of trackable and traceable as far as like, kind of in essence where things are going in a little bit. At least there's a timestamp.
Oh no, they will
give
be.
you a little bit of a galaxy to go off of at least.
It's like being the first guys with barcodes back in the day, and you're like, "What are these things?" You're like, "No, these are going to be everywhere." Let me tell you, they're going, "Nah, dude, you're just some lines. I don't get what you're talking." You know. And I actually know my friend who, my ex-partner, his dad worked on that project, and he's like, dude, my dad was crazy. He'd come home and he'd be like, these are going to be everywhere. These are going to be everywhere. He's like, they were like, we don't want to hear about your stupid codes and your thing and now look at it.
It changed the entire grocery industry.
It's the world.
It revolutionized
and then
the way
QR
we eat.
codes are the modern day version. You know what I mean? And those are going to be passe soon, and there's going to be something new that we don't even know. Oh,
Microchips.
Yeah.
Implant,
Ooh, Neuralinks
The
coming
implant.
your way. But we'll see you in 8 weeks, and then in between, we'll keep in touch.
Yeah, cool, man.
Thank you, Max.
Thank you, Max.
Peace.
Sir.
Oh wait, how do people get in touch with him on the internet?
Oh yeah, quick one plug.
Catch me at Canna-Research Seeds or canna-researchseeds.com and High Grade Mutants.
Do you have an Instagram?
High Grade Mutants and then Canna-Research Co.
High Grade Mutants. Are you shadow banned? Do we have to type that whole thing out?
Yeah, super fucking shadow band.
Oh, I know.
bro.
You have to do the underscores and the over this and over
Oh, yeah.
shoulder boulder holder.
Yeah, because I tried searching Dr. Freak and that didn't come up earlier.
Wait, so you're High Grade Mutants 1? Is that you too?
No, just High Grade Mutants. He's got like a black and white triangle logo.
Will somebody tell Fresh Coast Seeds that they're following the imposter?
Oh, I hate when that happens because then your friends, your friends
it
are
could be the
following
fake
it, and you're like, oh, he's
imposter
cool.
French Coast.
Yeah, right. Could be an imposter. You don't
He's
even
got
know.
a lot, bro. He's
I
got
get
more
it.
than me. He's fucking
you could do
It's
that.
an imposter supporting the imposter to make it look real.
That makes sense.
Motherfucker.
That makes
They're all the
sense.
same people, bro. I guarantee it.
Yeah. You're just like, oh, that's got 3 G's in it, not 2 G's.
Well, we just sent you a
Is that the one right there?
That is the one.
That's the website, yeah.
Cool. All right, man. Well, that's awesome. And like I said, I looked at all your stuff and went back and I was like, damn, I got like pretty big collection. And you got to also do your own seed bank too,
Oh,
right?
that's a small portion of what's really, that we've collected over the years.
Yeah.
And we also are working on a tissue culture lab where we're going to start offering a lot, wider selection of cuts, different tiers from more of the high-end stuff that is our breeding gear to more of the common stuff where, you can pick it up from us, know that it's clean, know it's coming out of TC Lab. And we'll be promoting all that later on.
That's cool. Nice. All right, well, we'll see you soon. Thanks for coming through.
Thank you.
Cool, guys.
Yeah. Peace out.
Good one.
Yep, and then we got to pay the bills.
Let's wang bang. Thank you, ma'am. Let's get
Wang
through.
bang. Thank you,
Let's
man.
go through
wow.
Is that a Grateful Dead song
Is
too?
that what
I fucked that one up.
Is that what our sponsors want to hear?
I wanted to
No.
say wang dang doodle.
It's Ted Nugent. Dead Nugent.
Ted Nugent. Oh, wow, dude.
I dig that.
That's a pretty good one.
Build a soil.
Is that already out there?
.com.
Because if not, someone
that
should
was
jump
good
on
though,
that.
right?
Someone should jump on that.
In
That's
30
ding,
seconds.
ding,
Because they can
ding.
just be like super
That's a-
right wing.
that's a hell of a
super
cover
right
band.
wing, and then occasionally and then be dead for a while.
That's Tucker Carlson's cover band.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
No, what's her name's a
Because he's a total
deadhead.
deadhead.
Yeah.
I know.
Tucker Carlson? is
Yes,
dead?
he has a picture with Jerry
didn't
somewhere
know?
as like a young, bright-eyed
Oh, yeah.
kid.
Come on, dude.
Oh,
he's your people.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
He's your
God.
people. You didn't know that?
Liking
Therefore,
the same music doesn't make him my people.
Oh yes. You
Oh,
guys
he hung out with Jerry though.
Yeah, he not only did he hang out,
Probably smoked with him.
You got a picture too.
Yeah.
more than that.
I shook his hand. It's all right. Not Tucker Carlson.
Ah.
Buildasoil.com. 855-877-70.
Oh, we got Miles in the house. Miles in the house. Come on, Miles, jump over here.
Miles.
Here,
in the house.
Yeah,
No,
Miles.
I got the other side ready. You can stick in there, buddy. Don't worry.
What?
Okay.
Miles just,
Oh.
I mean, he's got to do the commercial. That's it. He's here. That's like why he's here. He's going to talk for days about his company. No, we're only going to give him like 3 seconds. You got to go away. Miles in the house.
You don't even have to put the headphones on. Just tell us about Build a Soil. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead, put them on.
soil.
Just
Soil is the
say
best.
how awesome it is. It's the
Living
greatest-
soil.
Of course, it's the best.
You want to grow the best ganja, there's no question. You're
Yeah.
going to grow living soil.
Of course.
Want to grow the best anything.
and
Best ganja,
and he's
best
a one-stop
soil.
shop. Jeremy's the guy who's puts the most work in and puts like all the products through their paces, so you know everything's been vetted properly.
Yes, Jeremy susses out all the high quality inputs. Oh, look at those! Look at those!
Oh, look at
fancy
that's
bright
what I
neon
wanted
ones.
you
Oh,
here
shit.
for, right there. Oh, feel it. Look at.
So yeah, you get these
new
living
labels.
soil
Got new labels.
supports, You know, you get your Korean natural farming stuff. We got the
That
Korean
is-
natural farming classes coming up. We're doing it all.
When's the next? When's the next set of classes?
When is the next one? I don't know. Well, but we're doing one in
Or
Houston
where,
and one to San
I should
Diego.
say.
San Diego.
Wow, San Diego.
Which means
that's the nice.
That's a nice
Well,
easy. That's a nice easy. That's a nice easy.
Well,
it's like, going to San Diego. It's never
we've
really
done-
like.
yeah, we've done
You don't have to pack
Oklahoma
much. You
and-
just got to pack some shorts, some cargo shorts, and like look local, right? Some. Everyone there looks the same. Everyone in San Diego looks the same. You notice
Really?
that?
No,
Yeah.
I haven't been recently, so
If you
I'll
go
have to
there,
notice
people who
that.
are locals, they all look like this. You know, like all the chicks look the same. It's weird. You're like, dude, I swear to God, I saw like the same chick.
Clones?
Yeah, clone. Do.
Yeah.
San Diego.
They don't
clones.
play poker very well down there. I won a tournament there.
Did you? Oh, the robots. That's why.
Give yourself some credit,
You
I'm sure
beat
you-
the robots.
Robot.
But check out Jeremy at
Build,
855-877-SOIL if you want to get the done deal, because you got to call it in.
You got to ask for it.
And
Call
then
'em.
tell him Miles sent you.
Tell them I sent you.
From the Adam Dunn
Get
Show.
you some
Right.
fermented plant
That's like a
extracts.
double done deal right
Give
there.
them a call too, because they have great customer service. They will walk you through all kinds of each product they carry, how to use it properly. They're great for customer service.
They all know what's up. That's the most important part.
So put that number in your phone.
855-877-SOIL.
I'll remember
Y'all
that
are the
one.
best. I fucking love you guys so much right now.
Are you a medical patient?
Yes, sir.
If you're a medical patient, you should be heading to Green Farms Med in Colorado Springs. If you happen to be in Colorado Springs, you're going to need to get stoned. So you should go to Green Farms Med if you happen to be in Colorado Springs.
They've been having all sorts of specials, and
Crushing
lots of good product coming through. And it's like a restaurant though. If you want a place that has a lot of flow through, because then everything's kind of fresh and new, and you're not like, yeah, we haven't had a customer here in weeks. And I went there a couple weeks ago. It was fucking busy as hell. And I was like, damn, okay, that's because they have good product, good prices, cool people. Everybody who comes through there just was like. It was funny too, because you can really see, because it's Springs too. It's not Cherry Creek. You know what I mean? It's not like it's a totally different. It's like we're here, ounce. They want their, but they don't necessarily want the, they don't want to spend. They're not going to spend $100 on a. Magar or whatever, you know what I mean? They're going for the. How can I get the best deal? You know what I mean? But at the same time,
the best economical option.
Yeah, because he's got that covered, and he's got higher grade too. Obviously, the best of the best.
And you're going to get 10% off whatever's going on there. So
Yeah,
just ask for the done deal, and they will take care of you.
Even more.
Yeah.
They go nuts when they get the done deal down there.
Thank you.
Look at Nick heading out gifts.
Nick's
Fuck
like this
yeah.
Santa Claus going around here. He's got, what do we got now?
What do we got?
Is this like fruit roll-ups or something?
my
Oh, exploded Skittles.
Some freeze-dried stuff.
Freeze-dried.
1, 2, 3. What's that?
I saw something else freeze-dried recently too that looked kind of interesting. It was something.
Take it all.
Wow! Look at. Don't say that to Dave. He will take it all. Look at.
No, you scared me about Skittles, but I'll eat them.
They're just pure poison. It's fine. Pure poison, right here.
Weed Skittles.
But it's exploded poison, so it's okay.
I got 3.
It's even more quickly. It's into your.
He took the water out, so the poison's more concentrated for you.
It's more concentrated, and it goes right into your blood system. Micronized.
I'm down.
Micronized.
I'm down too.
He doesn't. You don't eat those.
No, but I mean, whatever.
Give them away.
He has eaten.
You
them.
may. I
tried once.
have eaten these, and they fuck you up.
Oh
okay?
yeah.
They really do work.
At the rate you're eating them,
Yeah.
they will. It's his birthday. He gets the.
They're like $10 We got to go to dinner. We got like a dinner thing.
Highfalutin.
We're hitting you with like the mega drive-by right now.
It is a mega drive-by. Highfalutin mega drive-by.
What was that first nug you gave us?
The first one was Death Star.
Okay, damn.
Oh yeah, let me see that.
Dude, the
That
Death
was
Star is
great.
This one right
definitely
here?
the best
No,
one.
the first one that
The Death
passed
Star
around.
is so
I didn't
good.
see it.
That one.
That one.
Yeah.
This one. Oh yeah, this one. This is Death Star. Really? Wow.
Squeeze it.
I know I did.
Okay.
I got a good hit earlier.
Yeah.
Very nice. It's almost like a Sensi Star. It's like a Sensi Star. That's what it is, right? So yeah, it's total Sensi Star. That's what I get. It's funny. Sensi Star was a good
breaking
plant,
half.
man. Whatever, roll it up.
I traded you another one.
Is this the same thing or something different?
Different.
Different. This
What else? You gotta. What else did you drop us off here?
What
for
is this
nugs?
big bomb, big hand grenade?
Yeah, what's that?
That one.
Hand grenade? What's the hand grenade here?
What's the mega one?
That's the Oreos.
Ah.
I like how he says it, just like,
let me see this. I haven't seen Oreos yet, so
I'm gonna have some harvested
see
soon.
the prettiest
so.
weed ever with no terps.
Cardboard is what I've been told.
That's what I heard. But I'm gonna cross it. I'm crossed it with a bunch of stuff, so we'll see.
What is this?
Yeah, I mean, it looks amazing. It looks like there's nice heads on here too.
This is the first one.
The first one is the one. That's the one.
This is going to be a very fun Patreon we're going to have here.
I can see where people like get some like
And you got
doughy
the
Oreo thing out of this, but
So that's
as a
the
hash
same one.
maker.
This is the same one from. This is the same one
That's
from
huge.
from the market last year or whatever.
That's peach maraschino. That's super booth in the pens.
Oh wait a minute, super boof in the pen.
Super boof in the
So Nick,
pen.
this is the same cut that was at the market that I took home. That Oreos. Same
Yeah,
deal.
if you got an Oreos clone at the market,
Yeah.
then it was that.
Okay, that's it. Makes sense. Okay, so expect. That's
How did the name
Give me
Oreos
some
come
weeds.
about?
Is this what purple
It
white
was spread by a dude
essentially?
named Max Yields in
Purple
Michigan.
white.
Purple
I don't
white
know why it's called
2023.
Oreos.
White.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the
I forget
white.
what the actual
All
lineage
right,
is.
let's get
All right,
back
we'll
to
get back-
get
let's
back
pay
to
the
the
bills.
let's get back to the bills. Get back to
All
look at
right,
Vinny's
see ya.
freaking out. He's got a date. He's got to go.
I don't have a date.
I'm
bro.
just kidding.
I'm free agent.
All set.
I'm just
Hey, if there
kidding.
are, Vinny's 57, so if there are any 35-year-old women
67.
out there,
37.
any 35-year-old women out there
29.
17.
who want to work with, hang out with an entrepreneurial,
Relax, bro.
former Navy guy, very intelligent, loves cats.
All right, let's get these ads going.
I'm getting it. Doing Vinny's
Are
ad.
we on Craigslist now? What's going on?
Craigslist. Holy roller.
Oh fuck yeah!
The Holy Roller.
Holy roller.
I
That is the biggest,
Listen to the
baddest
song.
rolling machine
This
ever.
is the song,
I saw
too.
this in Boston, and I had to walk around it like at least 5 times to wrap my head around it.
It's like it's just like wow. Somebody really
those
had to
sound
sit down and
effects?
think about how to push every little.
Yeah, it's unreal.
A lot of that noises are going around.
That's Willy Wonka's factory in a little box, in a not so little box, but
Not
little
so-
box for a factory.
Couple
What
big
is that in
crate.
the background?
Vinny's getting us in trouble as much as he can. He's
It's
playing-
holy roller, dude.
Oh, you do this every week. Peace out, Miles.
Thanks, buddy.
He plays it every week, and every week we say, "What the hell is this
like
noise
10
in the
years,
background?"
Your humor will be appreciated, Vinny.
Years from now, yes.
One guy out there loves the Holy Roller as a song and knows it's Holy Roll. Nobody hears it, dude. It's dribble. It sounds like your kid's in the basement playing the song or something. There we go.
Okay.
Oh, I got it. Finally, I heard the Holy Roller.
So if you'd like to
So just
buy
loop the Holy Roller part, and then it will make more
You
sense.
gotta listen to the song.
We can't hear
No,
the
don't
words
turn
while
it
they're
up.
doing the deal. But not only Holy Roller, that's just one piece. The really thing about Green Bros is that they start off with trimmers and work their way up and around in every single aspect of growing. If you're in a big facility, like their sorting machines and when you watch it, everything makes sense. It's about how to handle your cannabis properly and get it automated sense to where it needs to go, right? So like instead of it rolling or it's like everything is like it's smooth. It's like I've been watching them like, damn, these guys dial it in.
You're a big commercial company. There's a good chance you have at least one piece of their equipment at your place.
Or need it.
And if you don't have one,
Yeah.
you can go to greenbros.com with a Z, or you can give them a call, and you can ask for the done deal. And for the big ticket items, you're going to get 5% off your order. Or if you want, what is equivalent to 3 MTIs is the bucket attachment.
10 of them now. He's not even here.
He's not even here, so
Look
yeah,
at 10.
he can't
10.
defend himself.
Yeah, no,
You'll get 10% off that item. So greenbros.com or at Greenbros Inc. on Instagram.
there you
Oh,
go.
I know all about that.
Oh, he's here.
Oh shit!
Apothecary farm.
Speaking of which, he's missing out.
He's
This is
missing out on
his
his own
job.
ad.
This is
He
him doing the
loves
ad.
this place.
This is where he goes. This is what he does.
This was
you want to be
his
like Mark?
recommendation. When I asked
I need to
who should be
not
advertising on the
ambidextrous.
show, he said Apothecary. So I reached out, and they were advertising ever since. So they have 4 locations in Colorado right now, and like half a dozen in Oklahoma. They're right now. They have 8 grams for $50 at their store. Okay.
Damn.
8 grams for $50. Okay.
Oh. 8 grams for
That's a great deal.
$50 out the door.
Well, or you can go to Verde Natural, which is Dab Logic Hash House in Boulder, and you can get 7 grams for $80 out the door. Just ask for the. You don't even have to ask for the done deal for that. However, if you want 10% off your order, all you have to do is enter done deal on your pre-order. You cannot get this when you're stepping up to the counter.
No.
You have to give them an opportunity to fill the order before you get there.
Fill it.
10% off. The hash is phenomenal, and there was a line of people there today. So you got to try everything they have on the menu. What Julian does to rosin.
So there's a line to them. Good to hear.
Yeah.
Glad to hear.
Yeah.
Lines are good.
Lines are good. So Dab Logic is the rosin, and it's called Hash House in Boulder, or it's still Verde Natural, I believe, in Denver. You go to verdenatural.com, and you can link to both stores.
Talked to Chuck the other day.
Righteous. How's he doing? Yeah. Okay, we'll tell it during Patreon.
Yeah, Patreon story. Patreon story.
So, we're gonna figure out a way to do this. What are we calling it? Not a giveaway. We're calling it a.
Don't call it a giveaway.
What do we
Don't
call
it a
whatever we're
comeback.
calling it?
Whatever it is, don't call it a comeback.
We're going to be.
Whatever.
Dabx.com. Enter done deal at checkout. You get 20% off your order.
Yes.
$240 plus tax is a really good deal for this rig.
Why is that down the
It is
bottom,
absolutely fantastic. I don't know, Vinny's got it all fakakta.
No, that little scribble. Oh, there it is. I was wondering what that scribble scrabble was. But I
The
see
Go is their portable e-rig, or they have their Rocket, which is to convert any bong you already have into a dab rig. It is the most efficient way to smoke right
smoke
now.
it. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you not smoking it? What's
I'm
going on?
talking about it.
Stop
Everybody-
talking. Start smoking. Shut the hell
Yeah.
up.
So go to dabx.com, enter done deal at checkout, and you're going to get 20% off your order. The Rocket's only $200. The Go is $300. 20% off each of that. You do the math yourself.
Ozo Coffee.
ozocoffee.com. Again, done deal at checkout. Excuse me, done deal 23.
Another week's
Damn,
worth
that's a bag.
Another week's worth of coffee.
There you go.
People.
Yeah. So done deal 23 gets you 20% off your order. You should just get the subscription like Rosin Dogs. Everyone should be like Rosin Dogs.
I wonder if they heard that over the mics.
I felt it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Felt it? Nice.
On the concrete floor, yeah.
ozocoffee.com.
The
Yes,
best.
sir.
14er.
Coming soon to Sohai Cafe.
So 14er. It is, what did I say?
The
Is it
only
10?
place with Dave's face on weed.
Yeah, but wait, no, they have a done deal discount now for
Okay.
all online ordering.
Yes, sir.
Is it 20%?
It is.
Yeah, 20% off everything. So go to 14erboulder.com, click on the pre-order link on top, fill your card up, enter the promo code done deal, and you'll get 20% off your order. And yes, you can buy weed with my face on it there. You can also buy apothecary extracts. You can buy their rosin. You can buy vape carts, edibles. They use, I keep forgetting the name. Scroll down to the edibles company. They use highly specific.
Questionable.
No, they're really good.
Highly questionable.
No, they're fantastic. They're single strain, single source edibles. So,
Single.
yeah, I don't. Go
You
to their
almost
website.
had it. You were so close.
It was
You were
so
so close to making it all just smooth as silk. But
There we
then
go.
There it is. Strain
Strain-specific
specific gummies.
gummies.
Jesus Christ. Dialed in. Dialed in.
Dialed in. That's
How's
the
that?
ones.
Yeah, I got it right before it came up. I was like, dialed in. Oh, I remembered it now. Yes.
And they currently have some Puffcos on their shelf for sale, but once they run out,
it's Dabx all day.
Dabx all day long.
Damn.
Okay.
Look at Dave sliding in there.
Yep. So go to 14erboulder.com and you can tell them we sent you by placing a pre-order and entering done deal.
Did you double tap?
Stash.
Oh, it might be logged.
You know, Stash
he
Logic
clocked
has
it.
a Mother Day sale.
Mother's Day. What was that next week?
Like
It's this
Sunday,
week.
bro.
That's this Sunday?
It's this Sunday.
Whatever.
Oh,
I
yeah.
live with mom, so don't worry. It's easy. I just
I
go, here you
believe-
go. Here's Breaky Foo Coo. Yeah, there you go. Done deal.
I believe you
Done
guys
deal.
celebrate Ace all the time.
breakfast time. It'll be breakfast.
No.
It's the easiest way. But yes, Mother Day sale. If you stash Logics, if you need, I mean, basically you need this just because everybody who's carrying cannabis around with them these days, you want to give them no reason.
That's even a funny.
I need one of these.
In Colorado, it's called an expectation of privacy, and you do not have an expectation of privacy anywhere in your car unless it's a locked trunk or a locked box.
I'd love to design one with them that fits the perfect amount of jars.
I will get you in touch with them.
I bet you he'd do that. Yeah. He would totally be on board.
Stashlogics with an X.com. Enter Dunn Deal at checkout. You get 20% off your order, or they have a Mother's Day special right now, which is 20%. So enjoy.
Pegasus bags.
Pegasus.
So go to pegasusbags.com, enter Dunn Deal at checkout. It's 15%, I'm pretty sure, whatever the discount is. It's well worth it because this is the guy that sells the bags to the guy that you were buying bags from before. Okay? So he is way down on the food chain here. So trust me.
Up on the food chain.
Excuse me. You're ignoring several middlemen. So just go to pegasusbags.com. Place your order, enter Dunn Deal at checkout. You'll be good to go. And make sure you pick up a little petri dish of plastic-eating fungi.
Yeah,
plastic. And maybe make a YouTube video about how you eat some plastic
You ate a
with
straw.
you.
I ate a straw.
Whatever it
One
is.
straw was eaten. Yum, yum, yum.
In 2023, one straw was eaten. That would be a great beginning to a
start.
documentary.
Yeah.
You know, and then by 2050, you're literally taking all the plastic
We're
shit.
scared. We're running
The breeding project ran out of control, and now it's eating your whole house.
Yeah, no, it's eating everything plastic.
Yeah.
You're like, no, my whole house, my car fell apart, everything.
How about that? If that's really the end, it's not. It's not fucking.
It's Pegasus bags.
The
end.
The
of
cordyceps.
Yeah, it's.
Oh yeah, we have things growing out of our heads, and all the plastic.
Cordyceps and plastic-eating fungi just rule the world.
I have Last of Us on my DVR. I haven't watched it yet because I turned it on and I was
Too
my
close
family
to
was
home.
there and they were like, "Oh."
You should take mushrooms and watch it. That'd be good.
Did you watch it?
No.
Take a heroic dose and then watch The Last of
Bangers.
Us.
Speaking of heroic doses.
Speaking of a heroic company, Bangers Brands in California. If you're a licensed commercial producer and you would like just the best of the best to make your pre-rolls, you want to reach out to Bangers. Tell them you heard about it on the Adam Dunn Show. They will take really good care of you. They're about to enter into more business with Green Bros because the grinder that they bought is fantastic and they love it and they want more. So Bangers Brands in California, and they're at Bangers on Instagram.
Surprisingly, without a Z at the end in California, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did that.
Here's our guy.
This is our guy.
This is our guy. Oh shit! Where does my thing go?
It's out on the thing. There's another regular for you, and there's some mocha out there.
All right, it's all
You
there.
got any?
Good shit.
Was it for you?
Good shit, man. Good shit. Anyway, if you need any CBD products, contact our buddy 2 and send him a message telling him you heard about it on the show, and he will double dose you with products.
Well, if you order like 8, you're gonna get. If you order 7, you'll probably get 10. If you order,
Yeah, you may not double. If you're going to go order 100, you're not going to get 200.
He's just no good at math,
Yeah.
so he
We'll
always
get more.
He
Put it th-
rounds up.
It's really
Yeah.
good too.
Yeah,
all of it.
He's getting great reviews.
Yeah, no Skittle flavor.
He is not a doctor.
surprisingly.
No, they're all natural.
Well, he invented it.
He did.
Invented it, bro.
He's pre-Stanley.
That's all we need to know.
Not
Go to
that Stanley.
hempenco.com.
Hempen.co.
Hempen.co. That's right.
Yo tip.
Yo, tips.
You know, you're sitting there and you've heard us talk about this product for the past couple of months,
And you're like,
and you're still on the fence. I'm telling you, you're making a mistake. You need to go to
All right, you saw that. Okay, you saw the limpy.
I thought
drug.
Adam was crazy about making the hit better, and I actually realized it today. It does.
And you know what happened was he had the limpy joint, right? And then I just took it, and all I did was I just pushed the filter up, and I ripped off the bottom, stuck it back in, and boom, it was back.
Oh
to
yeah, it's something about like just the little chamber and and like some oxygen mixing or something. Yeah.
You gotta get it just right.
It works. I thought he was crazy, but I noticed it.
It's noticeable.
We have introduced
I
this
didn't want to
product.
notice it, and
He's
I
like,
did.
no, he's right, and I never want it to be right.
How
No,
about
it's
that,
good.
right? See, the kids these days, Adam.
They're kids. I
It's-
know.
it-
Well, now he's
you
an
know?
adult now. Now he's a big old. He's an old man.
Wait a minute. Mikey kind of rhymes with Telly, and the
No.
old Mike. Yes,
What? Mikey
Mikey.
Get out of here!
Williams.
Get out of here!
Mikey,
You're the worst rapper ever.
I'm talking about the fucking commercial with the Wheaties or whatever it was. What was it?
Life
Too old. Too old for me.
We'll
Yes.
tell a
Yes.
Patreon story.
Cool.
It'll all be on Patreon.
YoTip.com. YoTip. The product is YoTips, but you have to go to YoTip without the S.com.
That looks like some ball sacks if you hold it like that. There.
You enter Dunn Deal at checkout, you get 10% off your order. You want to get this product. And if you do work in a dispensary, please reach out. You should be
See what I mean?
carrying this product right now, especially if you sell pre-rolls.
That's it.
Culturedbiologics.com or
Makes
at
your shit
Cultured
taste good.
on Instagram.
Cultured.
Cultured.
This is carbon-based nutrient line. Definitely checks all the boxes. It's organic. It's totally water soluble. It's micronized, and it works amazing. So you can. It's funny too because there's like. I was talking to Mateo, and he's like, "Yeah, I was noticing that I was running all that stuff too low, and I don't think I was like, were you following?" I said, "Were you measuring it, or were you?" I was giving him the old like, were you weighing it, or were you like trying to do it by like teaspoons? Because that's bullshit. You don't do. You just got to do it by weight.
volume,
By grams.
You got to go by grams. It's the only way to do it. He said he was, and I was like, "Are you sure?" Because he's like,
Well, you asked the wrong question. Do you have a scale?
Yeah, well, that's true too. Exactly. No, and because again, then I got a little bit nervous because he's like, "Yeah, I checked. It was really under." And I'm like, "Were you following? Were you following?" I was like, "Were you following the actual formula, or were you just fucking around?" Anyway, so then I went and did it. Nailed it. I was like, "Dude, this is exactly where you need to be. What are you talking about?" Like,
Let me tell you where you went wrong, Adam.
What?
You called him Mateo. What's his name?
Mids.
Okay, and you just should have known, and right at the beginning, and you probably should have said, "Let me."
Because like I said, I double checked it. It was fucking on point, and it's like his. It's funny because I had some like leftover, and I was like, okay, I'll thin it down and I'll give it to the tomatoes and the starts that I got. And I came in the next day and they were like,
size of a pumpkin.
I was like, holy fuck, dude! They like doubled in size overnight. Because I hadn't really fed anything. I probably shouldn't have done it because I was like, now it's a little early. I was like, slow down, kids. But it was literally doubled overnight just from just a little of cultured. So got to get that.
Mark Solo says it works really good.
Oh yeah, exactly. and so far, Two's using it. He's loving it. Everybody who's using it is loving it. You can use it in combinations with all other stuff. So check it out. And also, Tim's going to be hanging out on the show sometimes. We haven't got it figured out timing, but
we'll figure it out. Culturedbiologics.com.
We will figure it out. You know that.
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Shit happens.
Are we doubling up?
Doubling?
What is it? No, we did them.
We did that.
Derp wipes.
This is the only way to get Terp Wipes. You go to terpwipes.com/donedeal. Bang, end of story. It says coupon added, done. You don't have to type anything except how many boxes you want. You really should
1 million boxes.
click the subscription and be done with it.
That's good shit.
terpwipes.com/donedeal.
Bio.
You commercial grower out there, you want a pallet of soil to try to put up against your current soil. It'll outproduce and it'll be cheaper. So give Tim at Bio365 a call. You go to bio365.com.
Got a couple pallets coming. I'm excited.
Or
I might have to give him a call. I've got some plants that may end up in a greenhouse for extraction. So
oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Well, tell me, our boy's all growing up.
He's all grown up.
like I haven't had it grow before. But.
No.
Adam, come on, go pinch his cheek. Bio365.com.
Assault.
If you're a deadhead and you're growing and you're not using Bio365, you're outside the fold. So come and just trust me on this one. Bio365.com. Growing by leaps and bounds, by the way. The Dunn deal is 20%.
Okay.
You go to numbnutsco.com. You enter Done Deal at checkout. They ship anywhere in the United States.
CBD.
The CBD peanut butter, excuse me. The cinnamon peanut butter is a whole
not
new
peanut butter.
experience.
It's almond.
That sounds good.
Oh, that's right. Cinnamon almond butter. Sorry.
Please get your fact checker. Fact checker. I'm fact checker over here.
Well, I can tell you this. If you go to their website, they list, or their Instagram page for Numbnuts THC, they're listing all the dispensaries they're dropping
We're looking at it right here, aren't we?
No. Yeah. No. This
You're
is
gonna
where
love my nuts.
they have like where it's coming, and this is where it's always where they.
Oh,
sell.
you mean like a drop?
Correct.
Oh,
yeah.
Peanut butter drops. You know we're in a really weird place when peanut butter has its own drop, right? You're like, what are you going to? Going to a drop, bro.
Yeah,
Sneakers? No. Glass? What?
Peanut butter.
1,000 milligram.
Like,
They also
Peanut butter with 1.5 grams of oil.
and like nudging people over.
It's the shit. Numbnutsco.com.
Fighting. Oh.
Established
technology.
Established technology.
Otherwise known as
Tech.
Tech.
So Jack has been in business for 22 years. He got his start selling high lights to light streets. So it was all about penetration of a canopy he didn't even realize.
Say it one more time. Like he has to make sure he gets that.
Get penetration
Yes,
on there?
there you
Really?
go. There you go.
You need that one?
Really? Yeah, with that
I'll give you any
enthusiasm.
drop you want. What do you want? What haven't I said on the show?
Oh.
I
Get
didn't
him now
know
when
what
he's foaming at the
boofing
mouth.
was.
Yeah, there you go. There's a drop. There you go. We got one.
Yeah, good. No, you want more? What else?
Penetration.
Deep in the shag. So you go to S-Tech on Instagram or S-Tech Inc. And if you are in a state, right, if you're a legal grower, if you're in New York, Oklahoma, Colorado, California, pretty much any legal state, there is a demand-side management program, which you'll refer to as a rebate. And that rebate will probably cover more than half of the light. However, I don't even want to talk about the rebate until we talk about how amazing their technology is. So you just go to stech.com, give one of them a call, send an email to.
I've literally seen this light, one of them in a room full of all these other lights that were supposedly the best, and then the plant center they were doing so much better that the guys were like, dude, well, that's obvious. Kind of, like it just showed you like literally like 30% more growth, or just in better, more vibrant, healthy plants. So check them out.
I was in sales my whole life before cannabis, just trying to make ends meet. And you know what? Sales is everything. And this product almost sold itself. I literally just showed it once to someone in California, and then they're installing 30 fixtures. So
30 whole fixtures.
I mean, it was
sold more than that last week. Like
I'm sure.
Snapped his fingers.
So that's all you
because
need
Two's
to
got
do.
it going too, and that's the thing. He's got it growing, and he can just show it to people, and then they're like, "Oh,
Yeah, his lights are sweet.
Of course, we're
It's
gonna
the
buy
shit.
It. So yeah, check them out.
And we give away a lamp once a month. First Friday of every month.
Okay, there you go.
So what do you have to do to win that light? You have to butcher the name
Dave.
Mids
No,
Mids Teo.
I thought it was Dave.
Butcher Mids Teo. Butcher it is
Whoa,
best
butcher!
you
Look
can.
how he says it. He says it so aggressively. Could you say like
Done deal.
fuck it up a little
at
bit? maybe?
AdamDunnShow.com.
Butcher it.
Oh, I know all about
Butcher
that.
it.
Butcher. Sounds a little bit weird, dude.
I want it
James coming
destroyed.
No. If he is, he
Here
can.
now.
He could. He could be here right now. He could be Seeds here. He could be here now.com.
Here, Seeds.
James here now. Here he is.
James being
Give it to us.
now.
Don't panic. It's organic.
Ooh, now we're talking.
That's not James.
SeedsHereNow.com. Done deal at checkout. 10% off your order. Oh, don't focus on those. That's somebody else's product.
Don't panic. It's organic.
Focus on his seeds.
He's working 9 things at once over here. Yeah. There you go. Flavor of them. Oh, look at that. Looks
Breeder of the
familiar.
month. Look at that.
Yeah.
Breeder of the month. Flavor of the month.
SeedsHereNow.com.
70+ breeders, all cool, good people. That's what's awesome about it. And, as far as genetics go, you can trust him. And if you have any issues with them, you can always get him. He'll replace them because he understands that sometimes things go wrong, but usually not. So it's
The man's a survivor.
So
He's been
what
around
was the
since
flavor
beginning.
last month? Lemon.
lemon, yeah.
This month?
Berry.
Like strawberry.
Berry. Oh, it's a. There you go. We just talked to the Mr. Berry himself, the Freak Berry. Freak Berry. I think he should probably make some Freak Berry deals just since he was on the show. So maybe. You never know. James, you listening?
Come on. Done deal at checkout.
That's right.
No, we got gear on our show.
Last but not least.
Lastest but not leastest.
I'll scroll by there.
Okay. Oh, you went right past yours because you want to be like, oh, you were going. Start off.
I got you, bro.
You should put mine in there at the top too.
What do you got? One?
What do you got?
No, we're working on it.
Okay.
Might delete.
Okay,
Might delete merch.
I'll put on the sign. We are working on it. But yeah, check out the AdamDunnShow.com and go to merch.
The only merch site we support where you do not get a done deal.
I know we can't. I can't do it. Sorry.
Nope.
There's no deals. No deals,
Doesn't
bro.
work.
No deals, bro.
It's already a done deal.
You have gotten there.
Exactly.
It's a done deal.
It's automatically applied.
It's kind of like OG now. No deals.
We forgot nfseeds.io.
Oh yeah, don't worry about don't worry, but don't forget. It's birthday boys. You have that one?
They say it's your birthday.
Oh yeah, hold on.
You have it. It's in there somewhere.
No, it's this one right here.
Here it is. Come on.
Go shorty, it's your birthday. We go party like it's your birthday. We go sip a party like it's your birthday. And you know you don't give up.
Now we're gonna get in trouble.
No, just talk over it.
No, that one don't hit shit.
That one doesn't have a copyright.
No, I played that Holy Roller. It don't get hit for shit either.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What was that thing
You say
said?
so.
No, I.
You just got to fuck up the waveform enough.
No, what you do is you play the sample over Shazam.
Oh, you do it to Shazam. You fuck it up and then you play it back to Shazam.
Yeah.
And if Shazam can't recognize it, then you should.
And you're good.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. I like
Yeah,
that.
I like that a lot.
That was a smart
Unless it was a total ploy to get all this competition banned.
No, it's smart.
Smart move. Anyway, we'll see you on Patreon
Shout out
in a
to
few
Fast
minutes.
from
That's
from
how I
Living
roll it.
Criminals. That was my boy.
Patreon.
Yep.
Patreon. Oh yeah, party on Patreon. Landlady's here.
I'll be getting out of here.
Oh, he's out.
Oh,
Kid's
no
out.
way. Okay,
He's
well,
old
since
now.
we're here.
What?
So on his 21st birthday, we were in the green room, and D Money came in and laid out this whole slab. It used to be the parchment paper, wax paper shit. You know, we don't
Is this
have
a
it.
Patreon? No, it's not a Patreon part.
No,
Well, he's
save
leaving.
it for
Yeah, I gotta
Patreon.
leave.
No, he's leaving.
Right, I guess.
So anyway, he laid out 21 different. I mean,
Oh, I
different.
remember that. I
Yeah, remember?
Yeah,
Laid
my
it out.
21st birthday, nine years ago in the green room. of the Head Lab.
21 dabs deep. And they were big ones too. They were
Big
big
ones. I threw up on my first one, ate a meal, and then threw up on the last one.
Oh man.
And they were
That's a
all
pretty good-
fire.
That's a pretty
Yeah.
good. It's a pretty good 21st.
He had
Yeah.
it all
Memorable.
labeled out. and
Threw up
shit.
twice
Yeah.
and still had no hangover.
Oh yeah,
That's
it was
a good
funny too because if you
21st.
know D Money too, he was doing one of these where he's like,
All labeled.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
and he was like, yeah, that's a good one. You know, and I was like, oh yeah, he's going down. Like it was just big globbers.
That's how I roll it.
You know, good job.
Hot knife.
Hell yeah.
Hot dabs on your 21st birthday.
Happy birthday,
Like
guys.
Oh man, if we could have a document, is
a
it
year or
documented
so
anywhere?
after
Yeah.
getting kicked
Videos?
out. Yeah, I've got a picture of it. De-documented it. so-
Puking? Was it you puking or was it?
Oh no, not the puking.
Somebody
no.
should have documented that. It should have been
No.
like, you know, that should
That was I was sweating and I'm like, oh shit, run to the bathroom.
Wow, yeah, it's a good
That's
one.
how we kids
Kids these days. Oh,
Well, next
On
week,
that
Dr.
note.
Joe Cohen from Holos Health and
Green Bodie.
Alex Rogers from
What?
ICBC.
Oh, he's calling in.
Yeah.
Okay, we got him on a crazy midnight schedule. He's
No,
gonna
he
call.
says he'll be back from Slovenia.
Oh, and that's the International Cannabis
Business Conference.
Conference. There you go. Been around for a long time.
Yeah, they've got one coming up in Berlin.
That's the one that I went to, the German one. Where were they now? What do you mean?
Well, no, they have a
No,
Berlin event coming up, but
I
they
think it
have
was in
them all
Frankfurt.
over.
I think it was Frankfurt, the one I went to. I don't know. Anyway, yes.
Yeah.
It's very interesting when you go to Germany to a cannabis event. You're like, okay, this doesn't make any sense. This is back like 20 years, 18 years. It's been around for, like I said, a long ass time. It's one of the oldest ones. And it was just weird because I think it was when, basically it started when Switzerland was blowing up. So it was like, of course you could have it there. And then it just was like, oh, we doing it here. When it was like, killed the vibe when you went to Germany. It was a little bit weird. They're like, don't smoke anywhere near the
Right.
place. Don't
Well,
smoke
we
anywhere.
might
Imagine
have
James Bond
somebody
if he was raised in the jungles of Ohio.
from the Mary Jane Berlin, which is supposedly Spanibus of Europe, of Germany.
Oh, that sounds bad.
Yeah, but they don't. I've spoken to now a couple of people,
Yeah.
and their English is not the first language.
Okay, well, this will be fun.
Yeah, so we're working out whether or not
Cannabis
they can
is
have
their
somebody
first
who's-
language.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right,
Well,
cool.
we'll see you guys on Patreon.
See you guys.
Shout out to my beautiful
Later.
wife, Cece, out in, she's out. in
Happy
Sweden.
birthday, Telly.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Kyle. And
Yeah,
you know
happy
what?
birthday, Kyle.
Again, for the third time, fourth time now, shut the fuck up.
Oh, yeah, he's got
You
stop.
hog the mic
I
so
know.
much.
He's the worst.
I mean,
there's a lot of interviews
with all
today.
those
God.
overdubs. Yeah. we have to-
Really? We have no drops from you today at
Yeah,
all. I
we
mean,
didn't get a
You don't
single
need a
birthday
drop
drop
from me.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
then
yeah,
when you're not here-
immortalized.
Maybe on Patreon.
Because then when we're not here, we can play you, and then we like
We have conversations
You
with
say your name, boom, then it gets played.
All right, well,
There
then
it
it's
is.
just a better
Oh,
reason.
now he's thinking of drops. That doesn't work. You
No.
can't think of them. They just have to happen.
For sure.
Yeah, it's a
No, I
pleasure to
got
have
it.
you on.
It has to drip. Oh yeah, that'll be in 2 weeks. He'll be on David.
Yeah.
Oh, Vinny.
This is the first time we went 2 weeks after Danko, which I don't know
No,
how
we-
comfortable I am with.
I know it's rough, but it's
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
It's a
See you in
reverse.
10 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Patreon.
Practically every one of the top 40 records being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children to take a trip, to cop out, to groove. The psychedelic checkers on the record albums have their own.
This is a special question. We don't want you to smoke genetically modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing. One of the smoke the natural herb. Sweet. Some call it marijuana. Sweet. Some call it sesame. Sweet. Some call it lamb's bread. The tea. And some people call it